You have now reached your destination.
No teeth nor blade to defend their title. The final week of November sees a potential new champion in the GLG. Fourth Hall of Heroes, brought to you by none other than Community Gaming. Every single Monday here at Great Lakes Gaming, we come together to place a new team on a pedestal. And because our Week 3 two-time champs of Bing Bong Esports aren't present, this week's competition gets a bit more heated because there's a lot of returning names that are trying to lengthen their runs through the gauntlet further than they've ever gone before. I'm here with Sham, and my name is Anton, and we're going to be bringing you guys this week's action today.
Thanks so much, Anton. Yeah, I think we have a great set of matches ahead of us today. Already, we've been talking about it. I think it's going to be a really exciting clash. And yet, like you were saying, returning champions, they're not here. So who's going to take that new crown? Yeah,
this is a curious week, right? Because we've got, I think most of the teams that are in this gauntlet today are returning. And I see like one new team who are, I think they're actually in the first matchup today, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so we have Week 2 champions still in existence. But last week they were defeated by Week 1 and the Week 3 champions. So the fact that they have another chance, we might see that happening. But also, who knows? Because again, we've got new teams here, so this is gonna be super curious. First game is actually going to be one of those, as I mentioned, the new teams. Mug Bulldogger being the new team against Alternate F4, which were present last week. I'm pretty sure they were defeated by none other than these champions. But yeah, again, this week we've got a bit more of a mix-up.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely, a complete mix-up, like you're saying. These matches, you never know which way they're going to go, but with some history between these teams, maybe, previously having competed, maybe they have some tricks up their sleeves, or they know something about the opponents. It looks like we're just about getting ready to go into our match, though. So what are you kind of expecting to see from these teams, Anton?
Honestly, I could speak a lot about meta and like Overwatch League and all the stuff like that. We see a lot of Banana Rush going on during the finals, but it's been a couple weeks since then. There's been some patches in this main game, and obviously this is GLG. We never know what we're gonna see. We like during these earlier rounds in the Hall of Heroes. Honestly, we see a lot of really off-meta picks. Probably because some of these teams like to have fun with it. I mean, obviously, like we're playing to have fun here, right? So there's gonna be some stuff like a Doomfist. We've seen a lot of Doomfist here, especially in our game 1s, game 2s, and it ends up working. So I don't even know at this point. I played with multiple Doomfist players. Admittedly, I'm not nearly as high elo as you are, but the character can be fun, right? And there's already some more meta stuff. We see a Winston on Alt F4. Mugbull are bringing an Orisa, which I've heard is actually pretty decent, although her pick rate in the higher levels might not be the highest. Even still, we'll see what Mug Bulldoggers can really bring out in this first match.
Yeah, I'm loving that you decided to compliment my skill rating. I think that's a great start to our cast so far. But interestingly enough, we're seeing the Orisa pick on well here. So like you were saying, a lot of teams have been gravitating, in Overwatch League towards the Monkey comps or Orisa or Roadhog. But here we have some interesting compositions.
Yeah, Alt F4 being super meta, but Mug Bulldoggers are definitely going completely off here. Let's see if it ends up working. I mean, they're contesting the point pretty decently at this point. Swanky is getting all the heals he possibly needs. Lands a nice little javelin on top of the high ground, but now he's getting jumped on with Winston. Can he stay alive here? It looks like the damage is being done on Alt F4, but they managed to stay alive for this the time being, as the point is finally getting contested. Mug Bull with the early picks.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Reaper just going a little too far, overextending, getting caught out. So now the 5v4 situation for Alt F4. Let's see if they're able to close it out.
Doing quite well so far. Elf on the low ground. He's kind of just poking at the Winston and barely going to stay alive. Zay, no longer. Barbie finally does go down at the end of the day. And Elf is just bullying them all the way back to their spawn. Alt F4 have to go all the way. And that's already a free, about 13% for Mug Bulldoggers, and a lot of time being bought for them as well.
Yeah, that's really well done by the Mug Bulldoggers for them to lose, to get that first initial kill, and then just play it slow. They know they have point control. They know that they have that advantage, and to not force anything too quickly. Alt F4, their resources are drained, and they're done that fight.
Taking a second to come back into it. Swanky still all the way over at this pagoda here, and just land some long-range shots. And no one else can really get back in with Alt F4 until their tank comes back into play. And there goes the Winston trying to find a dive, and it looks like he does have the high ground on 3 players, but really no way to open up right now. Zay all the way all the way back. He's already at half HP. He's finally getting the heals he needs, but they can't manage to find an opening anywhere. And we see Barbie finally getting the jump on maybe the Kiriko, but the teleport away. She's safe for now, and another shield goes down, and Luma just isn't going down. She can't manage to die. Finally, Barbie does get him. But at the end of the day, it doesn't seem like they have too much, because Leva also falls. And Swanky Pants, the tank, does die at the end. So Alt F4, have they found an opening they need? The cap still is getting contested by so many members of MBD.
Yeah, such a slow pace so far to these fights, but it seems like Alt F4 is finally getting the win that they needed. Not a lot of ultimates committed necessarily from them either, so they're in a really good spot, and 84%, or 82, sorry, they've capped the point.
It's getting quite tight here, but MBD having a nice early lead. Alt F4 finally get back into the groove of things, and like you mentioned, 3 ults available, and almost the Primal Rage available for Barbie as well. They just need a couple more seconds, and there it goes. Let's see when they manage to pop. There goes MBD with the support ults as well. One Kiriko rush going out, and it doesn't look like... Okay, Primal to try and counter it. Hudson's going to try and take him out, but it looks like he's the one getting bullied. He has to try and get under it. He does do so, gets back to the rest of his team, and the Primal doesn't find too much, but Hudson does get punished by Leva at the end. Swanky Pants now with his own. He tries to reinforce, and he does manage to do so with that Fortify. Elf with a pick, and he tries to get back into it. The tracking, good for him, and Winston's stuck in this corner now. How much can he punish? Seems like not too much at all, because the cap is still in place. Elf almost gets knocked off, but has the rewind to be able to stay alive. Bomb goes out, and it doesn't find too much as Zay does get the kill for this team. Zay's going to try for some more. The rail does find one, and a second headshot. Great gunplay, but gets taken out by the Lucio on the enemy team. And it looks like they're trying to get the point back, but this is not working. Leva goes down. Second kill happening on a Sirena. That's one of the healers gone off the board as well. And Mugbull, they're looking good for this recap.
Absolutely. This is such a chaotic fight. It's almost incredible that Mugbull Doggers have managed to turn this around, but they managed to cap over this point. And if you just look at the number of ultimates used on both sides so far, Alt F4, they've been so slow to commit their ultimates. They had so many opportunities to really close that out, but they played it so patiently, and now Mugbull Doggers really taking forward in this round.
Yeah, this one might be all but over by now. The contest is in, but they have to try and get something, and Zay is getting so bullied back here. There's no chance. Barbie with a response, but that's insane! What a cancel coming out from Orisa. That's everything you need, and even the ult to suck everyone back in. They do manage to get back on the point, but there's no health to work with, and Mugbull, they only have to do so much. Just a little bit left. The overtime's in play. If they win this team fight, that's all they need, but it looks like Alt F4 have actually taken everyone off the points.
Yeah, like I was saying before, Alt F4 playing patiently with their ultimates, they ended up with a larger stockpile going into that team fight. And so no matter the heroics from the side of Mugbull Doggers, Alt F4 were able to close it out. But Mugbull Doggers now on the Roadhog. So they're coming back on a completely different tank. Let's see if they're able to make it work for this last fight.
89. It's going to be 10% last fight territory coming in at this point. And there's already a kill. 2 kills happening for MBD. It's a bad sign for them. They've been at 99 for so long, but unless they can contest now, it should all but be over. There's really nothing that they can do. Swanky has to try and get in, has to try and just touch, but there's no way he stays alive at this point. Sirena with a nice headshot, and Elf with another touch, a bomb going out, but it doesn't contact with anything. And that is Alt F4 taking the first map of Ilios.
Yeah, so close from both sides, but Alt F4, especially on those retaking opportunities that Mugbull Doggers was trying to walk in on, Alt F4 did such a great job of punishing those rotations. So that was really important for them to do, especially in those team fights where they had maybe used ultimates and they didn't have opportunities to do so proactively. So Alt F4, a great job there to seal out the round. And I think the Winston composition that they are running is a little bit more favored, especially on a more open map like this. So Mugbull Doggers now, it seems like they're swapping away from the Orisa comp and they're maybe sticking more towards the Roadhog composition. So if it's in their practice, let's see if it's going to work out for them well here.
I'll just take some time for them to get back into this because it probably isn't the most, isn't the best for their morale, given the fact that they really might have had that in the bag, 99% for so long. No.
Absolutely. It's tough to come back from something like that, but it's only one round.
I'll doing some damage. Right back. Oh, the dive comes in. Yeah, this might be a mistake from Winston. Is he getting followed here? That's a lot of damage coming out, and everyone else from MBD actually goes down. So it looks like it's all fine. Yeah, Alt F4 are not worried at all. Liga gets one. And the Hudson with the tracking doesn't manage to find the target team needs. Winston still maybe getting bullied over here towards the site side. Liba with another frag. Swanky this time goes down on the Roadhog. The healing not enough for himself. It looks like the shots are going out. Liba with another. It's only the Reaper right now getting all the kills for Alt F4. Coming back in, and Zay finally cleans up Elf to help out. While Alt F4 winning that first team fight, they get the conversion.
Oh man, if Shades of the first round as well, since Mugbowl, they're doing so well, they get those initial picks, and they're able to get that point in the position. But when they push into that Reaper just does so much damage to them, and they're not able to sustain through it. So now they are on the offensive again, having to retake into this space.
Yeah, back lines goes the Reaper yet again. Another TP, and the Kiriko actually falls from that as well. Both healers, not quite both healers. Elf actually goes down along with that. The tank dies, and Serena also gets taken out. So one healer for both sides no longer in play. Zay with another headshot, the one-shot capability of that Sojourn, showing off how powerful this character can really be. And the shotguns from Liba drive another one off as well. And they still have this point under control.
Yeah, good of Mugbowl Doggers here to soft reset, knowing that they're a little bit down, they can afford to wait, but Liba is about to get this ultimate online, and I feel like they're gonna wreak havoc.
Has more shotguns from Liba. He does have the high ground for the time being. He's back on the site now, trying to punish this Roadhog, taking down Solo. All he needs are the Hellfire shotguns. Nothing else, not willing to pop the Death Blossom just yet. Has to try and keep himself alive, but the fade actually cancels way too early, and Elf takes 2 off of it, and he wants some more as well. Recalling back in the site, more damage on the Kiriko. Solo brought down, but the punch misses, and barely somehow they stay alive with the sound barrier. MBD really want this point. They're really trying to get this kill, but somehow Kiriko still stays alive, but it's HP to go down first.
Wow, there's so much going on right now. It's crazy. Both Kiriko ults have been committed. Liba finally going in. This Death Blossom is massive, and they're able to clean up the fight in the way that they needed to. The Tracer, the last hope for the Mugbowl Doggers. But this round now, 92%. It's looking grim. I don't even think they can touch.
Yeah, Hudson, I mean, he's got the movement on Sojourn, but it's only 2% left, and that is disheartening. What a showing from Alternate F4. Coming back in that first round, 99% yet again. I gotta reiterate that every single time for MBD. But Alt F4 come back into it, and even in this one, a lot more dominant than it was before.
Absolutely. That was a dominant performance in that round from Alt F4. The way that they were able to tiptoe that point to make it so that MBD was never able to get a good touch or a flip onto it. And then the way that they cycled their ultimates such that MBD just had no chances to come back into that round. So a lot of mistakes that were really well punished from Alt F4 that were able to secure them that round. And so now as we're going into this next map pick, I would be wondering, you know, we've seen 2 different looks already from MBD. We saw them run out on the Orisa comp first on Well. We saw them run out on the Roadhog comp on Ruin. So now, what are they going to try and go to? Are they going to continue to try and run that and say, hey, we just made some procedural mistakes and we can fix those? Or are they going to try and switch it up entirely, show us a third look again, and maybe even Mirror the Monkey, play some of that, you know, prestige Doomfist that we've been seeing in GLG so far? You know, sky's the limit, but I'm really curious as to what they're going to decide to do.
Yeah, I mean, I want to add on to that one of the points that you made there, Sean, as well. You were mentioning like Alt F4's retake ability, and honestly, that was like one of the best things that we saw from them, right? Because MBD, they tried for that kind of thing. There were a couple like really nice individual plays, like we saw the Lucio play, the play of the game right there, but also Elf on the if I'm correct, on the Tracer, like with that. I'm sorry. I'm still new to Overwatch casting, so I'm struggling to find all these ultimate names. But the sticky bomb, getting one, and then also staying alive for so long somehow, and then all the healers. It was just a lot of really nice individuals from MBD, just making the plays that they had to. But at the end of the day, Alt F4 with Liba and Zay landing those headshots as well. They come back into it, and Liba just seems to always be good to not only stay alive with his own fade. Moira has the fade, but you get the idea. And then Zay also just being able to get those crucial picks with that railgun.
Absolutely. Yeah, like I think commenting the individual play of MBD is entirely fair. There was that one awesome pulse bomb that came out, you know, from Elf that you were talking about, where they pulsed the ulting Sojourn, and they were able to deny that ult entirely. Those are the kind of plays that you especially want to be seeing from your DPS players. But Liba, like you were saying, to give praise to them as well, always in the backline, they were finding those first picks, especially on Reaper. That's kind of hard to do because you're not like a hero. I mean, you have a bunch of escape cooldowns and you can be a little sneaky, but it's quite difficult. Reaper is really that like mid-fight damage dealer and that person who cleans up those kills like towards the middle and the end of the fight. So for them to be there, getting those first kills on flanks, to be setting up ultimates the way that they were, and doing their whole job so perfectly, really, really great stuff.
Yeah, and something I want to highlight as well is Leva, like one of the times where you saw him teleport and instantly off of the TP, he finds the opponent Kiriko on MBD and just shuts her down like immediately. Well, the thing is, Elf tried to do the same thing with Serena, and in that case, traces her all over the place, and somehow Serena just stays alive, even at the smallest sliver of HP, jumps in the Winston bubble and everything like through, and just all the like turning and weaving. And the kill never happened. She just stayed alive the entire time. I don't know how that was even possible, but I don't even want to say that was bad shooting from Elf. I think he was doing just fine, but the fact that Serena was able to use her movement to get away and just through her entire teammates, like the swarm of utility, that's beautiful individualism by me, from in my eyes at least. From again, I am much lower elo than you, so I don't know exactly if that is really good or not. But I know Kiriko's usually would want some walls to climb over, and she was in the middle of like absolutely nowhere, in the middle of the site.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of like walls to climb, I think all of that is perfectly correct. And walls climbing up them, sneaky routes, flanking. Our next map is actually going to be King's Row. So plenty of different alleyways, plenty of flanking opportunities. Very interesting map coming out. Map choice from MBD. So I assume if they're running King's Row, like to kind of extrapolate, I think that their prep is leading them to play either more into that Orisa composition because it's much more brawl oriented. You can kind of run forward towards the enemy team, and King's Row is a little bit closed off in that manner where there's like a pretty set lane that you're walking down. So I think that's probably the style that they're going for, and I think Roadhog also works really well on that map. Now, interestingly enough, as a map choice, King's Row is quite difficult to make Winston work. So let's see if Alt F4 is going to be able to make that Winston composition still like stand tall on that map.
Yeah, it's gonna be curious because I saw. I don't think they had this for very long, but I also saw, I'm pretty sure Alt F4 bring out like a Symmetra for the top for just like a split second or something like that. It might be just for the out of spawn TP or something, but they had it for just like a little bit, and I think my inkling tells me, if I'm looking at the lobby correctly, they should be starting on defense. So it is a possibility. I wouldn't really expect it, but that it is there. You never know. It's GLG, so they could bring anything out they possibly want. And with that first map win, I mean, it looks like they're in the driver's seat right now. That it took them a second to warm up. MBD got to a pretty decent first section of Ilios, but then as soon as Alt F4 decided that they wanted to just win, they made that choice and they just went for it. There was pretty much no competition on the second half. So we'll go into King's Row. We are starting out right now, and they're going to be locking in their heroes as the time goes. But yeah, I mean, I made my predictions. I mean, Sean, again, you are the brains of our duo. Do you have anything that you would think would work better than what we saw last round from MBD?
I mean, I'm a personal proponent that I think the Roadhog compositions are quite strong, especially right now. So I think on a on a map where Winston may be a little bit more difficult to make work, I would probably personally opt for the Roadhog. But as kind of the interesting development is in the rock paper scissors game that is Overwatch, Orisa is really good in the Roadhog as well. So we've only really seen Alt F4 play this Winston composition. With MBD locking in Junker Queen, I'm a little skeptical, but it's not terrible. It's actually quite a decent response, but there we see, I think they're just playing mystery heroes with me, as people love to do. So maybe going into the Winston mirror. So like I was saying, they're pulling out kind of that third look.
Anyway, this is literally this is what we see like all the time in Overwatch. Like this is I think the pick rate for Overwatch League was these 5 characters at like 99% and everything else at like sub 1 or something. So it's not, I guess it's not that surprising. Elf tried to get a pick there. Yeah, he wanted to try and find something with the Widowmaker, but no one is going to be giving that up that easily. So we'll see how this mirror works out. MBD going in for the push. Aliva here, just holding off, just fine. Yeah, Winston's gonna be all the way at the high ground. He's actually getting a lot of tags on Liba, but the heals are too good, and Liba's awareness is also really too good for her to die that easily. Zay with another headshot. Ruma goes down very early on, and another teleport to the back line. Can he find anything quick here on the Winston? And the damage doesn't, no, it's not even enough. The reason it is enough because MBD have to run all the way back to spawn.
Yeah, and that's honestly the best thing that MBD could have done in that situation after losing Luma. Losing your Kiriko that early in these fights is really a death sentence for your engage. So getting out and then re-taking it is the best option.
Another attempts at a push. Lebo with a kill. Wants to find some more as well. Great aim on the shotguns. And now Lucio might be getting punished here. He can't manage to find his way around the wall, but just good enough. And in fact, Leba's the one to go down this time. Stuck inside Hudson's little ball. And the rail does finish him off. Swanky tries to go for there and punish as well. Finally getting on the point. Good on the cap. Shield's going down. And Swanky finding himself at half.
Zay finally being taken out, though, it is really good for the MBD because Zay has been such a problem finding those Sojourn headshots in these team fights. So now Alt F4, Kitsune Rush committed by MBD, and let's see if Alt F4 is going to be able to hold.
Oh, Leva, he's actually going all the way in, but no, every single headshot coming out. Elf with 2, and Hudson and Famel. I actually asked for that pronunciation before the map, and I already forgot it, but apologies for that one. Everyone coming in big for Mug Bulldoggers, and Elf with the double kill with those Hellfires.
Yeah, and the real difference maker for MBD there was Luma's Kitsune Rush. You see, a Kitsune Rush, whenever it comes out on the battlefield unmirrored, it's such a massive buff for that attacking team. And so they were basically able to clean up the point just off the strength of that. But now Serena obviously has her own Kitsune Rush. So let's see how Alta 4 plans to use that, engage with it.
There is Swanky and Hudson both with their ultimates as well, so maybe a counter to those. We'll have to see when they end up popping them. Serena is holding the back line. All good, making sure the rest of the team stays alive. The Winston gets a bit low, has to try and get out, but there goes the Kitsune Rush of their own. That drives them all the way back. Multiple Doggers have to get out and dodge, and it just doesn't work out. Liba's found the back line once again. Every single time we see this player, it's always somehow shooting the shotguns in the back of MBD. The Elf does get a response on the tank, though. Liba takes some damage as well, but is able to get out of dodge, and everyone else coming back in for it. Kitsune Rush buying a little bit of time, but MBD seemed to be fine with just pushing right back in.
Absolutely. This next fight, though, is going to be an absolute slugfest. If you see all of the ultimates online, already Hudson going in with the Sojourn ultimate, the overclock.
Oh, shotguns. Again, technically in the back, but all right, Liba, that's how you need to shut them down. The headshot from the Sojourn yet again. That character being one of the most impactful nowadays in Overwatch meta. Probably the most, as we see a lot of players talk about. That is exactly why it lets you find an in. It lets you find a way in. Zay taken out very low and does get one before falling, but Hudson being so good on the opponent's Sojourn. His remove 2. Luma actually does go down from the Kiriko battle. But Hudson still every single frag. Liba attempting the Death Blossom, but it's him instead that gets put in the ground.
And Hudson finally responding. You know, it was looking like Zay was getting the better of him in a lot of those Sojourn duels, but here we have Hudson going crazy for his team and clutching it out when he needs to. But now Overclock committed on the side of Zay. Is he going to be the hero for his team?
Oh, there's so much damage, but not quite enough. The Winston being so good to block for absolutely everyone, and Elf with 1, Swanky with another. Trio kills for MBD, and the Sojourn has to try and get out, and this is not going to work. Liba now last alive. Another rail coming out from Hudson.
And again, that's the second point in a row now. Just one off of the strength of a solo Kitsune Rush, pretty much, right? That Kitsune Rush is just so powerful whenever it comes out. Serena now has her own, but if these fights keep coming out that the Kitsune Rushes aren't layered or there's no counter to it, it's going to be really hard for Alt F4 to hold this on defense.
Yeah, that's another Death Blossom out as well. And Hudson committing with the railguns. Finds another Death Blossom falling from the sky. Looks like we're raining petals, because that is... It should be a cap for MBD unless they can spawn in time and get a touch off, but this is so close. 3 minutes for them to play with, and there are less than 50 meters that they need to find.
Yeah, so here comes the Kitsune Rush, right? And this is the most powerful. So you see MBD having to kite all the way out and so many cooldowns, but they're really successfully kiting it. And now Alt F4, without that ultimate getting value, they're going to be on the back foot coming up here. Primal Rage with Swanky Pants and a pick itself. This is going to be so difficult.
It's almost impossible. Luma with one, that's one of the damage off. The healer's at least still alive, and Barbie does go down, so maybe is a chance for MBD to try and finish right now. Leva also falls so good in the last map, but this time, Elf meets another kill, and Elf with another. That is its sound barrier just to celebrate and play the boombox at the end as MBD take it with 2 minutes to spare.
Yeah, fantastic execution from MBD there. And I think the thing that I'm prodding them most on here is their ability to kite those Kitsune rushes, right? Because it's very easy when you're playing the game to understand, oh, I just used my Kitsune rush. They're probably building it at a similar speed, so I know exactly when they're going to have it. So you can tell that they have a really good counter plan that says when they Kitsune rush, we're going to run all the way out. And that's what they've done every single time, right? Every single time that Serena lays down her ultimate, the entire team of MBD is all the way out. They're completely gone. They're not even on the same map anymore, right? But every time MBD hits their Kitsune rush, Alt F4, they're stuck in the middle. They have nowhere to go, and they're getting wiped to it. So Alt F4 really needs to find a way to either play more proactively with their Kitsune rush to say, no, we're not going to let you kite, and maybe commit something else with it. Or they need to find a way to not all die during Luma's Kitsune rush. It's the biggest issue, right? It's such an easy thing for me as a caster to sit here and say, but they need some better planning around that especially. But MBD playing that team play on this Monkey Sojourn Reaper comp so well, and that nets them that 2 minute 16-second time bank.
Yeah, do you think that's really because obviously they're playing absolutely exceptionally, right? Elf has been so good. He was good already on the Tracer, but now on the Reaper it looks like a completely different player. How much is that of their adaptation? Maybe the map, maybe it's King's Row, maybe it's the game mode, but versus the fact that this is like the most meta composition in the game.
Oh, it definitely helps as well because it limits the potential that Swanky Pants has in these frontline battles. He's not able to take and exert the same amount of pressure, and so he's been struggling a little bit too to kind of figure out the new tempo of the game.
Yeah, that's still a lot of damage, and now, yeah, staying alive. Not quite dying, down to like 100, but the Winston's just fine off of that. And in fact, the Lucio on the team of MBD does fall. Hudson with another. And this might be a bit of a problem because Alt F4 have broken through. They've gotten a really nice opening early on their attack side.
Yeah, that was really good on the side of them. And again, it's opened up by Zay on Sojourn, getting those crucial picks. Like I've been mentioning, Zay has kind of been the hero for his team so far on this map. And he's been that shining light of hope for them. So it's really going to be on, is Zay going to be able to continue getting those key openings?
Man, it's crazy how much the Sojourners are doing because on Hudson's attack. I say Hudson's attack because that was one of the things that made them win as well. And it looks like he's not done just yet. Not only on the attack side of MBD, but also on the defense. Removes Zay. Heard their name on our tongues, and apparently he doesn't sit too well with him. He wants to make sure that we keep saying Hudson. And he keeps staying on the front end of the scoreboard because Swanky now has to take a lot of attention here. Shields out for both monkeys. And Elf on the sidelines takes a lot of damage, but is able to get out alive, but only just. Zay still on the high ground, finds some more. Charging up the rail, doesn't manage to find one, but both the Reapers, in fact, do, and the Death Blossom also comes out, and it's kills for everyone, but Elf comes out on top, MBD, with the man advantage.
With the man advantage for now, but Serena, and as I say, the Hudson gets yet another pick, so now it's definitely going to be hard for Alt F4 to re-engage this immediately, but MBD will have to back up just a little bit because they are down some numbers, and with the quicker respawns on the side of Alt F4, they're going to be able to take card presence. And now they do have a Kiriko ult, but MBD with 3 ultimates of their own online, I think this is going to be anyone's fight to win.
Yeah, Death Blossom. It looks like Elf wants to try and get into this one. And on top of the payload he goes, and there goes the Death Blossom. Finds 2. Both. Finds everyone. Finds everyone. Doesn't even leave anyone standing. Hudson the only one to prevent the ace. But Elf honestly could have gotten them all if that help didn't come through. That was a beautiful Death Blossom. Everyone on Alt F4 pushing daisies.
Yeah, and compliments, to the chef, to our observer. We just caught play of the game live, so thank you very much for that. And now this is a great hold that MBD have been putting up so far. First point didn't look so great for them, but the second point holding on Arches has been awesome.
Yeah, double ults coming out from Alt F4 as well to try and break through, but there's a lot of sound barriers for both teams. Lucius is popping them left and right. Elf, though, gets another kill, and it's still MBD to come out on top. There's no opening. Alta 4 can't find a single thing. Both primals, monkeys trying to punch each other out. But Elf is still alive, somehow solo. There's so much damage being done on this Reaper, but somehow it's still Elf to come out on top every time.
Yeah, what difficulty too for Alta 4 to be pushing in, and you know they saw you commit they committed so many ultimates there, and for MBD to just get away from that with only the Primal Rage invested, that's just like you're thinking about ultimates in terms of time spent on a map, and it's just that's so much time that now is going to be drained off the clock of Alta 4, and with hopes of trying to set the same time bank that MBD had been setting, it's looking more and more grim as these fights go on. But a Roadhog swap now, maybe to try and help them out of here.
Yeah, there's a little bit of an adaptation. Not only that, but also Liba switching off of the Reaper for once. But the Roadhog is not going to do very much because Barbie just gets shotgunned down by his opponent. And his own flat cannon not working well enough.
Ooh, and this could be dangerous for the Kiriko if they're not able to get out alive, but seemingly they're with their Tracer, they're safe. So even on that flank, they're able to get out and to safety. But Alta 4, you know, still after those costly team fights, no ultimates in the bank for them yet. And it's so crucial that they're able to build them as fast as possible. So they're taking these neutral fights, but the defenders have some favorability and they're pushing right in.
And there is at least some space being taken as well. It might be partially because of Liba on this Tracer. Has finally again found the back line, just like the Reaper before. And now is a bit more tricky on this character. Has a pulse bomb in use as well. There it goes. It's not going to find much as the sound barrier comes out once again for MBD. Perfect timing every single time for Spell. And Swanky, though, does go down to Barbie. So maybe it's not that good after all. Hudson, once again, every single time, if you ask for him, he delivers with those headshots. Charging up the rail once more. Rare miss coming out, but another Death Blossom. Thank goodness for the Kiriko existing. That pushes everyone back, though.
But this is still totally fine for MBD if you're looking at that time bank. 1 minute, 20 seconds now, and they have the Kitsune Rush, but Luma, if they wait too long for it, Luma is gonna get her own, and the Primal from Swanky Pants can be some great disruption. So again, not the best fight that they're looking for, but that is the pick that they needed.
Ooh, another headshot from Hudson. It's insane how much value this guy's getting on this map. On this Sojourn, you might wonder why I wasn't playing it earlier. But here we finally see the wake up and a big stun, but good Suzu means the Swanky stays alive, and he's in fact able to cast his own Primal and go in to the rest of Alta 4, finds one. Zay goes down. Everyone else taking a lot of damage. Hudson even with the rails, trying to find some more headshots, but Swanky to follow up in his own work. And Barbie now caught isolated, but MBD are just fine with this. They've gotten 2 picks, and they can go all the way back, let Alta 4 take some space.
Alta 4 has some crucial ultimates here coming in. MBD did end up using a lot of their important ones, but this is last fight territory. You know, this is not the time bank that they wanted, especially with how fast they cap first, and this Kitsune Rush a little bit short, but maybe it'll get the job done.
They do have the combo with this Roadhog ultimate, but it just finds their space, does take out Swanky Pants, which means they can probably end up getting this checkpoint right here if no one from MBD wants to push in. There goes the Reaper. Elphick gonna try and contest a little bit.
Swanky Pants swapped over to the Orisa, so I wasn't even expecting them to contest this, but here they are.
They want to try for something. Hudson, we know how good he is on these headshots. So far, not finding too much. Only the primary fire damage, but Zay walks right into that one. And he's got at least 1 pick, and this could be a problem because the OT is taking already 4 meters, is all these guys need from Alta 4, but they're falling one by one, and Swanky on the Orisa lands a javelin into Serena. It should be all but over. Liba is trying his darndest to stay alive here, but this is not going to be enough. MBD with the second map tying up the series.
Yeah, what an incredible way to rebound, especially after map 1, to get that kind of performance out on King's Row. That was definitely a statement, and you know, the next maps that we're going to, they may go in MBD's favor, depending. I mean, Alta 4 is going to have their own map pick here, but that was so strong from them in the way that they were understanding their space, setting really good tempo, using their ultimates really well. I was just very impressed by MBD in that situation. So we have that series on our hands. You know, we have a really competitive one.
Yeah, it's crazy the difference between Ilios and King's Row, right? Because like, I honestly, again, I don't know too much about these teams. We're coming in and we're all having fun here, right? And the MBD is, again, They're a new team. I don't believe I might be missing them. I checked. Yeah, Hollow Heroes 3, and their name was not on the list. They might have been in number 1, but they were surely. I don't think they were in number 2 either. So a lot of question marks, and they come into map 1 looking a bit flat, if I must say so myself. Again, maybe in terms of the comp, maybe it might be a map thing. But in this one, holy, they did not let up. It was like Hudson's like a completely different player. I said that about him. I think I said that about Elf as well on the Reaper. But these guys, I don't know who they swapped with in their seats. No, only joking. But these guys turned up so hard. Elf with all the headshots. Hudson, or excuse me, the other way around. Hudson with the headshots. The number of rails this guy was landing. This guy is the reason why everyone's saying that you have to nerf Sojourn. This guy is the reason why everyone's confused and why she hasn't been touched. But Genji's been nerfed. Why Junkrat has been worked on for whatever reason. But Sojourn is in this state. And this is the amount of impact that a good Sojourn player can have.
And I mean, in this meta especially, it's unfortunately that there's some players who make like that really big impact, and there's some players for whom on the team it's just about not making mistakes, right? Like we see like for Lucio players, for Kiriko players, it's a lot less about like what they're offensively providing for their team and like how many headshots they're hitting, and it's really just about like how much am I playing my own life? Am I hitting all my ultimates at the right time? And so it's a very polarizing style, right? Your Monkey player will have a lot of like wiggle room, but at the end of the day, if your Sojourn is dead at the beginning of a fight, so difficult to win. If your Kiriko is dead at the beginning of the fight, so difficult to win. So there's a lot of variables that go into that. But yeah, this is a very punishing meta. And as we were seeing, you know, Hudson in those final fights, he was finding Zay, he was finding the kills that he needed to. And that was just such a boon for his team.
Yeah, and that's like one of the most obvious differences, right? Because last map on Alios, it was Cyrena just staying alive like everywhere. The Kiriko never died. Their healer HP never died on the Lucio either. But this time, like you mentioned, Hudson he got all the important frag, like every single one. It was crazy. And for some reason, Zay was just not on it that one. It was either not finding the rail charge he needed, not finding the shots, or he was just getting deleted by his opponent, by Hudson every single time, which we did actually end up seeing on the screen. Just the strafing left and right, and Hudson manages to have the crosshair placement just fine, which is weird because you don't talk about crosshair placement very much in Overwatch compared to other games. But it really felt like he was playing Valorant, just waiting for someone to cross his crosshair, and the one-shot potential of that hero. I almost say Asian again. This game is probably the most Valorant game, and this meta is probably the most like tack shooter meta that we've had in a long time in Overwatch because of how many one-shots there really are.
Oh, absolutely. And I think something that people learned, especially as we continued to play Sojourn, is how patience was rewarded on that hero, especially. And not in the way of like, you know, taking the Valorant style lineups of like, I'm looking through like 4 different corridors and I have like 1 pixel's worth of room. But a lot of times, you know, that Winston Primal is committed onto a Sojourn to try and displace them. And at one point, it's a very easy way to farm off your rail, right? But a lot of players have realized that shooting down that ulting Winston isn't actually the optimal play. And we even saw at one point, there's a Sojourn getting primaled, but they're looking for a headshot on a squishy during that time anyway. That was something that, you know, Proper on the San Francisco Shock was so good at doing, right? He would be getting primaled and he'd find a headshot while he's getting primaled. That kind of play and that play style of not shooting the most obvious target with my rail, but really holding it for the best opportunity to get that one shot. That kind of Sojourn play is really separating the best Sojourns from just, you know, the people who play Sojourn. So I was really impressed to see some of the Sojourn players in this match do kind of like and play in that style. Because it shows they have a really good understanding of the hero.
That is a really good point. I never thought about that, but it's basically, and in layman's terms, it's like don't go for the easy target, go for the best, most valuable target, right? That's the thing, and I guess it's a lot of players. That's something that is difficult to understand if you don't really hear it from someone's mouth. But now that it's out there, I hope a lot of the ranked players out there that I meet, hopefully, fingers crossed. Some people are watching this broadcast and now they understand, but yeah, it's like a mental game at the end of the day, right? When you're in it's difficult to really get in the zone and just understand because you're going to be panicking. You're the one in the game. You're the one literally trying to get punched out by a monkey. It's difficult to keep your cool, but like you mentioned, like these players, it is impressive the amount of talent that we do have in because these tournaments are relatively small. Like we gotta admit, we're not Overwatch League, but the players here are probably good enough to at least just punch up a little bit. Maybe I don't want to say that they're good enough to compete because I know it's difficult to be at the pro level, and it's a lot more than just mental game and just skill. It's a lot lifestyle as well. But I mean, if you put them on a server, then they could compete. They could take a fight.
For sure. And I mean, we've been talking about Sojourn Play so much. We're going to, that ancestral homeland necessarily of Circuit Royal. It's not actually the ancestral homeland of Sojourn, but it is the ancestral homeland of headshots, seemingly, for Overwatch 2. So really excited as we go into our escort map. So it seems like, if they're going to Circuit Royal, they're expecting to play more of that sniper-based play style, right? Or they're expecting some long-range play. And, Swanky Pants has to stop trolling me with blocking Junker Queen. Every time I see it, I'm more frustrated. They love to troll us.
There's a ball on
That's
Monk as well. And a Doom Pit. I mean, it could be serious. No, okay, they're warming up though. That's all it was.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not like we haven't seen this type of thing before. But not in this map. I gotta admit, we have. I don't think I've casted a circus. It might as well be a circus in GLG. But I don't think I've casted a Circuit Royale in Hall of Heroes yet. So this would be interesting to see between these two teams, not only in Hall of Heroes but also in round 1, which is super curious. We see a lot of King's Row, but not a lot of this map. And this is Zarya versus Sigma. I mean, it's not like completely off meta. Zarya though, having been hit by a couple nerfs. So what do you think about her so far? Like after her barrier and the timing of it got a bit hit.
So I think the difficulty for Zarya right now is, with Winston being so good as Winston is, Winston was already starting to slowly outpace Zarya in the previous patch. And so by the time the new patch rolled around, it was very difficult for Zarya to really get a footing, especially when Winston was so much more meta and Zarya was already nerfed. I think that Zarya still has really good counterplay, especially against Roadhog compositions where, someone gets bubbled, you can just bubble them immediately and you can save your teammates. But she still hasn't found enough room to really outcompete other tank heroes in the meta.
Come on, let's move this payload.
Oh wait, okay, well, as we're talking about her, she switched for double Sigma. I don't think they knew that their opponents were bringing Sigma, but fair enough. I mean, he's fairly annoying to deal with just of himself. And an interesting little post-up spot coming out from Swanky as well. He's on the top right high ground for their own team, and he's doing okay. Yeah, he's keeping the shields up. Hudson all the way towards the back line, trying to find some sneaky little headshots, and he's gonna find a couple bodies, but healing's enough to make sure that no one dies from those until he does land one onto Serena. That could be a problem because that's the healer going down. That means everyone else has to try and push back. MBD, how much space can they have? Hudson does take a rail to the face as well, but just managed to stay alive as Liba does counter with another headshot. And this is kills back and forth from these two Widowmakers.
Yeah, and this is actually pretty bad in terms of the overall position for MAD, and you see they're getting caught out because they weren't able to rotate fast enough, and staying there in the face of a Widowmaker is just a death sentence for you. So hopefully for Alt F4 they're able to clean out this fight with no other kills, but as I say that, Zay goes down to a headshot on his way out from Hudson.
Jeez, man, the amount of pressure that's being put on right now. Even Monk is just walking through and somehow doesn't hit the rock. It doesn't even matter. I was about to say if that rock hit, that would have been done and dusted for the enemy Sigma, but apparently already is anyways. Fmel also goes down to Monk, and so much being applied from the hands of Alt F4. They are doing so well.
Interestingly enough, the compositions are so different from our previous map, right? Oh my gosh, what a shot.
Oh.
But we see no Kiriko on the field, right? And we even see no Sojourn from MBD. So there's some critical differences from the play of these teams previously. It seems like Alt F4's strategy, which is working right now, is let's just throw something completely different that MBD wasn't going to expect.
Well, the ultimate, I don't think that Gravitic actually found too much. In fact, everyone stays alive. Monk, though, is getting very punished in terms of damage, but in fact, he finds the Gravitic Flux. Lamp goes out just in time, and also a wall to counter. It's a bit weird, a bit awkward. Monk is not quite going down just yet. The damage is not enough. In fact, it's him to get all the frags, and still Alt F4 to come out on top.
Yeah, and I mean, Alt F4 is just rolling through this map so far, right? MBD has been trading on ultimates so far, and they've been using them pretty fast and loose as well, but they're not getting what they need to out of them. And Alt F4 here, that window from Serena was so clutch to clutch it up for them, and they do have ults to win this here.
Dragon to find maybe Liba, gets out just in time. Monk falls, so Alta 4, no tank for them in the front line, but Liba good on the shots. Great bullet to the skull of Hudson. So many trading headshots between these two maps, but now no longer than Sojourns, like you said. Zay now on that character, but it's all up to this headshots coming out from the rest of MBD, and they do have a little stalling power. Zay has to retreat. Everyone else on his team dying one by one.
Absolutely. And you know, credit to Liba, I wasn't expecting this at all. Like, Zay's been predominantly on the Sojourn, right? So we expected Zay to have some great aim, especially on more hitscan heroes, but for Liba to come out as well, and having been on Reaper for this whole game, and to find headshots on Hudson like this, I'm really impressed with Liba's play so far.
What? I don't know how he didn't die. That was a good headshot into Mel. Barely alive, leaves the Zenyatta up in the sky. Don't discount that kind of shot, because it almost landed. Another rail coming on to Elf as well. That's a counter headshot. Oh no, excuse me. That is on the lamp of Serena. Almost some impressive stuff there. But it's just these one-shot abilities from everyone. Luma's lamp goes down. There's another wall. Trying to amplify some damage through it. And they are managing to keep Alt F4 back on the ramp of this highway for the time being. Hudson, can he find some more shots back here? There's a couple misses. Up in the sky yet again. Liba just wants to try and get something. But it's a big stall right here. And finally Alt F4 with their own ultis. This is where they have to try and push through.
Yeah, but this is a really difficult spot for NBD to be in, especially having missed their own window earlier and not gotten value from it. For them now to be in this spot, but as I say this, I guess I caster blessed NBD. And they managed to clutch out the fight.
Yeah, Alpha the nice headshots. Hey, both walls not really doing too much. Amp Matrix is just falling a bit flat. There was one kill that happened through it, but the shots from Elf, man, this guy is just absolutely on one right now. On the Hanzo, something that is new to us today. New to both these teams, in fact. And he's doing pretty much, I mean, he was a bit quiet early on, but he's kind of woken up, and so far, it's been absolutely exceptional. Now the wall hacks on Hudson, and how good he is on these headshots, but doesn't even need a sniper. Zay's got his own cranium.
Absolutely, and that's the danger of charging rail at a distance. Your sniper peeks it without realizing the Sojourn has full charge already and gets that kill, but equalization comes out.
Almost another headshot, but the Dragon also from Elf finds some tags. The lamp saves everyone. And so far, not much happening. Another stalemate. Swanky with a nice combo to find a kill. And on the enemy, Sigma as well. That is a big double kill. And Alt F4, there is no push.
Absolutely. You know, Swanky, I feel like was having some difficulty, especially in terms of matching Monk on the Sigma earlier, but Swanky's really come alive in these last points. Like, when I thought MBD was going to be on the back foot, especially going towards the end of second point, they're not clutching it out, and only 30 seconds remain for Alt F4. So a lot has gone wrong for us to get to this point, and Alt F4, unfortunately, they're just on their last legs here, last fight territory.
I mean, you know what they say, right? Obi-Wan told this to Anakin once, don't try me, I have the high ground. And it looks like Alt F4, they can't right now. They can't try. There's another Gravitic Flux in Swanky's hands if he wants to use it, but he's just keeping himself alive. He's all good. Knows that the time is running low. 3 seconds remaining. He's not going to let this ultimate go to waste. Rock misses, and he's going to use it right after this little expiration from their opponent, Omnic. No more. Right to the ground, hits Serena. Zay with 2 kills. Maybe this is what they need, though, because now the Sigma is one of the last players left alive. How much can he find? Rock coming out. He's stunned. He's now down on the ground. No health to work with. And Alt F4 have finally gotten it in overtime. They need to push this all the way through. Elf does have to contest, but decides a bit better than it. Maybe waiting for the rest of the team to come in. And he knows that there's a couple people here, but now certainly has finally touched the point, is keeping this overtime alive. And the rest of the team does come back in, but the Gravitic Flux from the opponent surely manages to get them over the finish line, and it seems to so many kills going down, and Elf only with 1, nothing left standing, and it's only the 1 player. And he's going to go down fairly soon. The ball comes out. They're still trying to contest, but yeah, there's no chance.
Yeah, and it was a failed recontest in the end on the side of the MBD, but I honestly love that from them. Even though it meant swapping around their entire comp to go for it, like, that's the kind of thing where Swanky had done so much work to stall for their team that it was definitely realistic for them to try for it. So Unfortunate that it doesn't work out, but this is third point of Circuit Royale, right? And only 1 minute 10 seconds to push all the way through on one of the most difficult and defender favored points in the entire game. So it's going to be very, very hard for Alt F4 to push from this position, especially look at their ultimate economy, right? Like neither team really has anything. And so that naturally will favor these defenders in terms of MBD.
And look at Swanky. He's still doing so much work. You're praising him before. And the shield placement is beautiful. Some more damage going out, but he's got the suck going on. And it's all fine. Lamp goes out. And barely the enemy Sigma stays alive, but is it enough? It doesn't look like it. Alt F4 do have 2 frags. And Swanky's taken out very low. Headshot coming out from Liba. This is what they need. An opening here, a second one. And Swanky falls. Liba is no longer in this world, but again, it's Alt Elf. Back to full. Another rewind. And 18 seconds for another contest. Alt F4 cannot manage to make a mistake.
Yeah, but look at the high ground positioning, right? With already down to 4 players, Alt F4 is going to have such a difficult time, and now 3 players there. This is looking pretty bad for Alt F4 in terms of final capping, and with the respawn advantage, I think, yes, they don't even touch. MBD is able to clean it up.
Man, that is absolutely insane. NBD, their glow up over the course of this series, starting off not that well, honestly. Early on in the day, first map comes out, Ilios, they fall flat. Alt F4, it looks like they are primed to take the entire thing just by storm, and then all of a sudden, NBD, they come up real big on Kings Row, and now, finally, on Circuit Royale, they pull out something crazy, that stall at the top of the ramp on the highway. Just nothing able to get through until the final milliseconds. And Alt F4 do push it all the way to that third point, but it's just not enough. The amount of mistakes that they couldn't have made, and the one single pick that Hudson had towards that spawn. And what do you really do when you have like only 30 seconds to work with? The Widowmaker, 1 bullet is all that's required to shut down the entire attack.
Yeah. I think both teams, like kind of you were saying and you were highlighting, both teams have had their moments throughout the series overall already. And both teams, especially on this map, right? Like second point, that was all MBD. And then by the time Alt F4 capped it, you know, third point actually looked really good for Alt F4. And even though they weren't able to get it all the way to the end of the map, that was quite successful for the time that they had. So both teams playing this competitively, fighting back. And, you know, the key difference right now, compositionally, is Zay's still on that Sojourn while Elf is on the Hanzos. So that's kind of the biggest difference that we're going to see. And so MBD has more kind of that long range potential, but Alt F4 is going to have a lot more just general damage and pressure coming out from Sojourn.
Same position coming out from Monk. His shield breaks quite fast though. And we've got Liba behind the Sigma, just holding it down, just making sure that no one pushes up way too far, and the back lines are also not completely safe. Headshot's not coming through. But the recon means that Hudson knows exactly where you are, Liba. And there goes the Widowmaker on the defending Alt F4. Swanky is able to push up off that. Create some more pressure. Sojourn has to move. They have no presence on the bridge anymore. And Swanky up on the high ground has taken pretty much all of their space. And this is a great push already coming out. 3 minutes. And even some more kills. Zay goes down. There's been nothing but Alt F4 found Hudson with yet another one. Onto HP on the Omnic.
Oh, and Liba's down again too, so the Widowmaker has died twice already, and you know, the Hanzo is coming up as a big difference maker already with the Sonic Arrow that they're able to provide, that vision for their own Widowmaker, and then just the general ability to, like, you know, contest a Widow at range all the time, right? That's what Hanzo has always been quite good at, is like, you know, peeking a corner, shooting an arrow, and then peeking all the way back so a Widow can't really hurt you. And it's coming up really massively. They've isolated Liba, and they're punishing him.
Yeah, this is a crazy thing, right? Because it seems like both teams are kind of going for one of those comps. Zay has the capability as well, but the thing is he's not having nearly as much success. Not quite a headshot, but Liba still falls low enough that Hudson can just land the easy shots. And even with that window, everyone this time on MBD managed to make it work, and 3 fall. Finally, Zay does come back in with a headshot of his own. But how much does that really matter? Elf got revenge taken on him by Zay. But this push is still going strong. And Monk, at the front lines, not able to find any space taken for himself, as everyone on his team is just taken down low. They have to wait for the respawns. Now he's gotten the rock out, but it lands on the opponent's window. And now they finally have a contest here. But this has been a lot easier for MBD to get up this ramp than it was for Alt F4. So much time to work with. and not that much space left to go. Monk now with a Gravitic Flux behind the wall to keep himself safe, but it doesn't find too much. Cyrena is the only one to fall. That's on Swanky Pants on the kill. More punches, more bombs going out, and he's just full contesting this point. The Widow should be dying very soon, and there goes Swanky Pants punching him out. Zay does remove him from the equation, and the overclock now working wonders. Hudson, not long for this world, but lands enough to keep himself alive for the time being, and the healer comes back in as well on the Baptiste. Means that Hubson doesn't go down and doesn't delay too long, but Alt F4 do manage to hold on for the time.
And I mean, both teams, you know, in terms of how many ults they're committing, that was a pretty expensive fight for both of them. But I was quite surprised that Swanky Pants didn't commit the Sigma Flux like almost immediately, especially now because HP Installer has that Transcendence online in order to counter it. So it's going to be even harder for him to get value for it in this fight.
Well, if the Transcendence does go out, but doesn't get used with the Gravitic Flux, and he only finds a couple, but there is an instant kill here because the Sojourn has been completely denied. Nothing to do. Zay even falls alongside that. And it looks like the Widowmaker's in a bit of a predicament here as well, because very, very low, and the healer's not doing enough of a job. HP can only do so much, and he also falls to the opponent, Zenyatta, and that is a full push coming out from MBD.
Yeah, and I think, you know, seeing how it ended up turning out, where they've used the Hanzo Dragons in order to force out that Transcendence from the side of Alt F4, I think then following up with the Gravitic Flux, it made a lot more sense cohesively as a plan, and I really like the way that they took that engage. So now, you know, third point, and look at the time bank differential from what Alt F4 was facing versus what MBD now has, right? 4 minutes on the clock for them to push through this. This is pretty bad for Alt F4, even if this point is really difficult to cap.
Yeah, this is gonna be nigh on impossible. This is a headshot coming from Liba. Is making something happen. Spots the Widowmaker, I think, going across, but this is gonna be a tough fight for both of them. And Liba, oh, doesn't expect a drop from Hudson. Great movement coming out from the Widow on the attack of MBD. The rest of his team not having too much success, but until a window does go out, it's Liba actually to go down first. But everyone else here still providing pressure. Swanky up on top of the payload is finally getting knocked down, but has enough willpower in his own hand to keep himself alive. Rock to counter the opponent Sigma, and again very, very low. He does get out of the Gravitic Flux itself, but everyone else caught. It's all up to Swanky to try and keep himself alive. The lamp goes out, big lamp, and Mel with just 2. That is absolutely huge. Allows them to get all the way in here. Everyone from Alt F4 falling, and surely this is the end here.
Surely, of course, but it's going to be really difficult, I'd say, for Alt F4 to contest this. Do they have anyone who's going to touch? No. And that's how that series goes. Incredible stuff. MBD finally pulls it out in a whole 3-map series.
That's reverse sweep. We've seen it every once in a while, right? It's happened here at Hollow Heroes before, but in this kind of fashion, that is some beauty. And it can't even, like, it wasn't even that, like, close at the end. I don't even know how it happened, but the first map being completely one-sided for MBD at the start, and then coming back, and the second one was even, or sorry, not MBD, excuse me, Alt F4. We're looking good. We're looking like they just needed to warm up. The first section of Ilios was kind of tight, like I mentioned, and then they come back and completely stomp the rest of the map. And then MBD were like, never mind, guys, we just got to stop playing around. They come out with the Banana Rush, and they completely just roll over King's Row, and then it looked like Circuit Royale was it was a joke. There's nothing that Alt F4 could find. Again, climbing that hill at the top of the mountain, it took them, what, 3 minutes to get up there? They had 0 time, like literally 0 seconds left, brought it down to overtime in point 3, but in exchange, MBD, their point 3, they had 4 minutes. They had an infinite number of seconds more. That is absolutely insane how well they brought that through.
Yeah, and you know, huge props to MBD. I think that was a fantastic series we watched. We're about to head to a break, but we'll be coming at you live with more action, so just stay tuned.
Laugh it to the bank like laugh it to the bank like I got in it 10s, 20, 50, 100s, 10s, 20, 50, 100s, 10s, 20, 50, 100s, 10s, 20, 50, to the bank like pedal to the floor, need no brake lights. In the dark, watch me make light. I'm a star, got no stage fright. Please don't get me mad, I'm a nice guy. My baby say I'm cute, yeah, I'm tight fine. I be waking up when you go night night. In a different zone, what's the time? Laugh it to the bank like ooh, go. Laugh it to the bank like yeah. I got it in 10s, 20, 50, 100s, 10s, 20, 50, 100s, 10s, 20, 50, 100s, 10s, 20, 50, 100s. I get it up, flip it and continue. I've been going dumb, I've been going mental. Going up, I'm on another level. All black clothes like a medal. Little this and this, little Ricky Rick. It's my grandmama, I'm a Nicky Nick. I just wanna love, but I've been hit or miss. I might up and leave, yeah, take a pic. Laugh it to the bank like ooh, go. Laugh it to the bank like yeah. I got it in 10s, 20, 50, 100s, 10s, 20, 50, 100s, 10s, 20, 50, 100s, 10s, 20, 50, 100s.
Enough of the code switching. Been hitting my soul, been on the ropes. I'm ready to grow, so get to know niggas. Keep your head up, I want you to grow with me. See this gold on me, want you to glow with me. Yeah, alright, okay. We get it. No contest. Wait. Surf's up, nigga. The world been dying, days is number, check the climate. I'm sick of it, fuck the harebrained scheme to get the riches quick. I play the long game with serene scene and I whip this quick. From the back room to the hearts, I'm in the thick of it. I grind too hard for y'all not to see me a star, bitch. I'm raising a bar like they really pay me. They talk my life been in shambles, but I got handles. I'm finishing at the rim. I remind you time and again that I'm really him. Oh, you ain't know? This shit not just for the show, but bet you entertain. Anybody not for me is below me. Blow me, you in the way. I live my dreams, I got it locked, the master keeping on me. Back in the field, running audibles with the team. Everything I got out the mother, told my truth. I shake that fake shit, they praise you, then minimize you behind you. Just know I notice you. Stay woke, no joke, it really be the ones you closest to. Had to stop sleeping on myself like I ain't know the truth. Oh, this to me like it's really nobody code is this. And if you disagree, then you jaws and your claim get audited. Who you know do the beating and talking and write the harmonies. I'm really convinced there's nobody out here going hard as me. Wish well the dog that claimed belief in me so he could use me. Look at me now, you chose your route, I know you sick to see it. You talk a lot, all that flop, but that shit not harming us. Capping your status, we back, ain't nobody raws us. To the ones that held me down for the count, look at what growth will do. I'm the kid from the cul-de-sac, feeling double sex with loot they pay to play my shit back. In a way I'm going back until I'm fossil fuel to the flame, just like I'm supposed to do. Enough of the code switching, been hitting my soul, been on the ropes. I'm ready to grow, so get to know niggas. Keep your head up, I want you to grow with me. See this gold on me, want you to glow with me. Been hitting my soul, been on the ropes. I'm ready to grow, so get to know nigga. Keep your head up, I want you to grow with me. See this gold on me, want you to glow with me. I've been on a job, trying to take it far. I need that ROI, shit I done paid the cost. I'm all in on me, lil' baby she agree, she really been here through the fall. She the only thing I need. I wanna be free, I know that they want me for my ideas so they can line their pockets. Don't hit me to tell me that you give a fuck about me. You don't even know nothing about me, trying to force me on your timeline. You know you need to stop it, I live for more than attention. Might not be your trending topic, put my worth in analytics. I admit that took a toll, I got addicted to scrolling. We know well that get toxic, I got caught comparing me to people I don't even know. They say it's lonely at the top, well maybe then I'll focus on things that's more important and let whoever think whatever and just keep it moving. These niggas won't work on themselves, they'd rather see you losing. You'll never see me losing. Enough of the code switching, been hitting my soul, been on the ropes. I'm ready to grow, so get to know niggas. Keep your head up, I want you to grow with me. See this gold on me. Want you to grow with me. Want you to grow with me. I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage, I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression, it's all that I wanted. The phone in affection, I summon and dub it. Cause I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage, I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression, it's all that I wanted. The phone in affection, I summon and dub it. Why you be all on my line about nothing? Why won't you go get you $1 or something? Don't hang with a who line for nothing. I see that we different, you riding, I double. I don't do discussions on bragging about hundreds. Don't go to your places, I know that they sunken. Don't call me your brother, I barely could trust it. I talked to a shorty, she bagging the bugging. And I'ma need all of my dollars on corporate, so hand me the money, I divvy the pie. I'ma give all of my people a portion to build them a fortune. I'm flipping the ride. I can't be mixy when iffy the vibe. And 40 on 50 is really the time. Why is you all on my phone like you want me? Like you wasn't pushing the kid to the side. I don't know if you thinking I'm blind. Cross on my crosses and dot on my eyes. Done with your efforts, I'm dealing with pressures. I know it's a lesson, that's word of the wise. Dubbing the mixes I'm mixing, I know I've been missing. I needed some personal time. All the pictures, dimensions, I don't with your digits. I mean it, I'm staying inside. Cause I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage, I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression, it's all that I wanted. The phone in affection, I summon and dub it. Cause I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage, I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression, it's all that I wanted. The phone in affection, I summon and dub it. Coming in, yeah. Flex, I just wanna win, yeah. LABB, who we running with, yeah. 2233, I'm on 10 again, yeah. State your name, been dope on flame. I just switched the lanes. Damn, he did it again. I just flipped the pain. Stripping and dipping in bass, slab on everything. Swimming, you sinking away, cause I got big racks coming. I put my low racks on it. I ain't skip past losses, I had to get back off it. See the Fit Lab on it until they whip my coffin. Money clip, I tossed it, I heard it's big bags on big bags on big bags coming. Coming in, yeah. Flex, I just wanna win, yeah. LABB, who we running with, yeah. 2233, I'm on 10 again. Pump up the action. I'm active. If he never heard of Ben Dope, he just napping. Jackson's off the rapping. Keep it on my body, bitch, I'm broke if you ask it. Don't gotta sell him, Cialis, flawless, broken whips as long as it is foreign. Heard you want it cause the yam's enormous. What's in till she isn't gorgeous? Live my life, last name of Morgan Freeman. Trying to touch a forest, do not know when knocking on the door is. Came in, I came in, did it like the Porsches. Coming in, yeah. Flex, I just wanna win, yeah. LABB, who we running with, yeah. 2233, I'm on 10 again. Okay, alright. Coming in, yeah. Flex, I just wanna win, yeah. LABB, who we running with, yeah. 2233, I'm on 10, yeah. Drippin' Aquafina, I'm sippin' 15, kept a weapon on me. Flow make bitches, I'm my business, stack chicken like what it's gon' be. Crew in the cut, hey, you want us red run when I tell her peace. Love is love. Love is love. Adios. Bend dope with the switch again. Boy deliver like he happening. Core with it, just give them estimates. Somersaults for my Benjamins. I got what you need, baby. Skirt the Chevy, make a scene, baby. LABB been the team, baby. Been Papa, word to G, baby, look. Labs till I'm finished, had a handful of lemons through the hand. Got a bag, now the hands in the business. For my hand, it's a ticket. Talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I've been playing with the minutes that they been shoulda gave. And I'm flipping every digit that they been shoulda paid. Had to find a way to get it. No, this isn't what you made. If I ever wanna dip, then I'm brink with the blade. And I'm brinking a blink on the brink of some dumb shit. Watch how I move, cause I know the brink's coming. Watch for the blues, cause I know that they dumping. Nothing in my view, so it's hush on discussion. Hush on discussions, you know what you need to. I keep it in the fam to let you know that I don't need you. Y'all cats be see-through, heading out to peace. You been king, I'm regal, got it in my Abisu. Came through tripping Aquafina, I'm sipping 15, kept a weapon on me. Flow make digits, I'm my business. Stack chicken like what it's gon' be. Crew in the cut, hey, you want us red run when I tell her peace. Love is love. Love is love. Hold up with it, got my back on Pippin. I'm back in kitchens with the tray. Windows tinted like how black my skin is. Scoop the shorty in it from a J. Swish, she got vision just like any women giving me the kitten. Way before the riches, nothing more to mention. I could light a block of powder or a glisten. Boring on my body, that's Agora linen. I came through tripping Aquafina, I'm sipping 15, kept a weapon on me. Flow make bitches, I'm my business. Stack chicken like what it's gon' be. Crew in the cut, hey, you want us red run when I tell her peace. Love is love. Love is love. Adios. Love is love. Love is love. Adios. Love is love. Love is love. Adios.
I got money busting out the money clip. Make a call and hit another lick. Yeah. Turn a 10 piece to a 20 quick. I got money busting out the money clip. Make a call and hit another lick. Someone get the money counter, I can keep on thumbing it. Turn a 10 piece to a 20 quick. I got money busting out the money clip. Make a call and hit another lick. Someone get the money counter, I can keep on thumbing it. Okay, I'ma hit for 20 off a laptop. In a Zoom meeting, making money as my backdrop. Ballpoint base hit harder than a slap shot. Flew up my baby, told her run me like I'm Epcot. Whoa, whoa, I've been doing road on the go, go. Get a bag and flip it, that's for sure. Yeah, for sure, show. That was never talk about nothing. Turn it down and go get you some money. Turn a 10 piece to a 20 quick. I got money busting out the money clip. Make a call and hit another lick. Someone get the money counter, I can keep on thumbing it. Turn a 10 piece to a 20 quick. I got money busting out the money clip. Make a call and hit another lick. Someone get the money counter, I can keep on thumbing it. Eyes on the money, my brothers got my back. Streets moving funny, so I been holding strap. Not playing defense, we been on the attack. Plotting and scheming, how we gon' get it back. Designer all on you, but you can't buy the swag. No mirrors, those foo-foo, I can see the tag. You can bet if I spend this, cause I get it back. I'm 5G, your dollar, I can see the lag. All I ever wanted was to have it all. Got close, never froze, had to risk it all. As a little boy, I wish I was a little tall. Never made the league, I find other ways to let me ball. Turn a 10 piece to a 20 quick. I got money busting out the money clip. Make a call and hit another lick. Someone get the money counter, I can keep on thumbing it. Turn a 10 piece to a 20 quick. I got money busting out the money clip. Make a call and hit another lick. Someone get the money counter, I can keep on thumbing it. Tell them run it up. I wake up. Yeah. I wake up. Flex, I'm down now. Check. No drip, this. Tell them run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it up. I wake up. Flex, thumb down now. Check. No drip, this. Tell them run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it up. 9 out of 10 roll through my hands, I'm by my lonely. Turned to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me. I'm number one up on that court, I'm Nick McGrady. The first one in, the last one out, can't call me lazy. Put in my hours, send the invoice and they pay me. I need 6 rings like MJ and Tom Brady. I wake up, flex, thumb down, that check. No drip, this. Tell 'em run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell 'em run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down, that check. No drip, this. Tell 'em run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell 'em run it up. Y'all gon' make me take that trip way out to Europe. I call up Nigeria, come through in a hurry. Those London boys don't come to play, you should get worried. One false move, find yourself there getting buried. Dance with the devil, used to love playing those games. Made some bad decisions that brought my mama pain. I made a promise to her, swore that I would change. I'm on the come up, bet I live up to my name. I wake up, flex, thumb down, that check. No drip, this. Tell 'em run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell 'em run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down, that check. No drip, this. Tell 'em run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell 'em run it up.
Hit for my wins, I need my ends. This life is real, and play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in, I get it in, I get it in. Hit for my wins, I need my ends. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in, I get it in, I get it in.
I'm on my job, I get it done, but you should know that. Shine like a sun of 101, you should know that. I get the front and in the back, you should know that. No need to stun, it's never cap, you should know that. All I know, 10 toes, never fold, bang roll, on the go, ice wall, ice wall, ice wall.
Hit for my wins, I need my ends. This life is real, and play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in, I get it in, I get it in. Hit for my wins, I need my ends. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in, I get it in, I get it in.
I miss my baby, so I hit them on the FaceTime. I need it all for them, so no, I cannot waste time. Facing these oceans, feel the water on my waistline. We trust the process, and I only know it takes time. You can get it. Got no worries, I'm gon' make mine. Going global, I'ma get it out the state lines. Paying taxes at a more than what you make now. Different bracket, eating off a different plate
Hit for
now.
my wins, I need my ends. This life is real, and play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in, I get it in, I get it in. Hit for my wins, I need my ends. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in, I get it in, I get it in.
Yeah. Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand.
Back again like flu season, I broke records while losing.
They might have started out a bit misleading, but MBD's map is theirs because they came back and completely sweep the rug under their opponent's foot. Alt F4, apparently that's what they hit on the keyboard because they weren't on there at all those last two maps. That was absolutely insane. And now we see MBD back in action against their opponents of Mix coming in the semifinals.
Absolutely, yeah. MBD clutching it out, finding their way through this bracket, and you know, they live to play again, as it would be. So they're up against Mix here. And we're just about to go into Nepal in a couple minutes right now. But yeah, really impressive showing from MBD thus far.
Yeah, I honestly, it's a bit unlucky. We were talking about this in the break as well. The number of teams in this tournament so far means that they do actually have to play an extra game relative to everyone else because of the bye system that we had to go through with to get all these teams into the finals at the end. But so yeah, they do. This is their second game. Well, this is actually Mix's first game. So Mix have had a lot of time to, I don't know if they've been watching the VODs or if they've just been resting this entire time. They could have literally just been playing ranked or quick play. They've had plenty of time for that. So they could also be warmed up. We don't know, but we also haven't seen them so far in this tournament this week. So we don't entirely understand exactly what they're going to be bringing us. And since it's Nepal as well, it's a new map that we haven't seen on broadcast yet this week either. So this is yet again, it's another toss-up. We have no idea what's going to happen. MBD, I mean, we saw in the first map, they got kind of rolled. And so maybe it'll take them some time again. Who knows?
Yeah, and I mean, that must be the scary thing, right? As we go into this game here, if they're watching previously, right? Or if they watched MBD play it previously, they're either very scared, having seen, the level of opponent they're about to go into, or they're feeling very confident knowing that they have them beat on everything they have.
Yeah, so we should be getting into the map as we speak. Nepal, beautiful little scenery here. See that little pagoda just in the center, and a little pillar in the middle. I mean, I don't know about you, but honestly, I have I've got this strange. Okay, the way I was about to say it was a bit weird, and I'm not going to say it that way. But I take a liking to D.Va as a tank just in general. But this one. With these maps with random pillars in the center of the sites, I feel like she's not entirely the best thing because you get teams that will just you get a D.Va bomb in the site and everyone just walks to the other side of the pillar. But we see Orisa's actually coming out for Mix, so not entirely the same as last time. It's MBD with their Winston comp with their quick TP out of spawn with the Symmetras this time, but they're bringing pretty standard stuff.
Yeah, and I actually really like the Orisa pick kind of going into this. If they've seen that Swanky Pants was playing a lot more of the Monkey in those previous series, the Orisa is actually quite strong, and Monkey has to play very technically in order to make it work very well. So both teams kind of just marching onto the point.
Yeah, that's quick. They just want to contest. There's no really waiting off site for anyone right now. Mel almost actually goes down to the Orisa. It was a nice javelin landed by Prime, but in fact all the damage just goes into MBD's favor, and they continue their form from the previous maps, not needing any warm-up time. One player is all they need to cap the point, as everyone else just hunts down Caps, being last alive on the side of Mix. One by one, they all fall, and a quick conversion from MBD.
Yeah, and Hudson finding that first pick, he was a hero for them in the last series, so it seems like he's going to do some great stuff again in this series, and it looks like Mix is kind of just walking straight in, and they're not really taking different angles, they're just marching it right on the point.
You can see how much damage is being done. Hudson, he's trying to get hunted down, but Caps can't manage to find the shots in time. Elf, though, he can. There's a lot going on. The enemy team of Mix, and Fmel is the one to clean up what Elf started. Trying to punish the Orisa as well. Takes the attention to let Swanky come in from the backside. And Fmel pushes them all the way back, and Hudson just cleans up. Elf finishing off front, middle, and back of that entire engage.
Yeah, and unfortunate for Mix, when they walk onto point like that, they're really exposing themselves to the DPS of MBD, and the Bulldoggers are just shooting them. It's making the job of Mix very difficult to make any sort of footing so far on this point. 55% almost, and they don't even have an ultimate online yet on the side of Mix.
They're not even close, are they? Closest is AV, excuse me. Inferno is also pretty much neck and neck, so both support ults will come in time before this first section of this map ends, but this is a problem because the Kitsune Rush comes out, and there is a Death Blossom on Elf. Thank goodness he does get knocked back for the time being with the Javelin, but speaking of Javelin, he does go down, Prime falls, and everyone else one by one, yet again, they're just getting picked off. Every player on MBD coming up big.
Yeah, and like we were talking about, that's the power of the Kitsune Rush, and AV is on Moira, they're not even on Kiriko, right? And so now Prime Ghost is swapping over to the Monkey. But man, it's going to be so difficult. 90% almost, so they're going to have a risky touch as the Surgeon ult. The overclock is popped immediately to prevent that.
Oh, that is a problem. Inferno had that sound barrier up. Is able to maybe make some impact off of it, but the Death Blossom from Elf removes everything from Mix's hands. The Coalescence is not, and that 99% is going to tick up to 100 as Mix has no semblance of presence on that site at all.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Mix earned a single elimination during that entire round.
That's a little bit rough.
That is
That's an easy way to
definitely
put
rough.
it.
You know, I think if they were watching the VOD of the previous match that MBD played, I think it's clear that they may have been, you know, shaking their boots a little bit more than they wanted to. But if they don't psych themselves out, maybe they have a chance to come back into this. But I don't see a way that makes it super competitive unless they are swapping over to playing more Kiriko-based compositions, because, you know, that hero just does so much. We saw every time that Luma is laying down an ultimate and nothing is matching it, it's just game over for the enemy team. So rolling back out on the Moira, it's one of those hero picks where I'm not so sure if they're going to really be able to make this work and get the value from it. If they are going to, they need to play much faster and much more decisively than they're playing right now.
Yeah, it's made even more difficult by how brazen MBD is really being in these pushes. We see Caps on the back lines. I mean, he's doing what Reaper does, but speaking of Reaper, Alf is here. And yet again, he makes his impact felt. Fmel and Hudson both tag along for double kills, and even Winston is one of the ones that go down on the side of Mix. And speaking of Winston, Swanky's all the way in the back lines, and they go all the way to the enemy spawn. And Mix can't manage to get out of their own dropship.
MBD just playing this so well and so decisively. They're just taking all the map space right now from Mix. Mix not even able to walk in without being contested. You see how close they're playing these arches. Already they've had to use cleanse, and Swanky Pan's just going right in.
Oh, yep, that's a shot from Hudson. Second one, regular gun, and third even doesn't even need the rails to clean up these kills. Elf and Swanky Pants to tag along. But yet again, it's everyone from Mix falling. They finally swapped over AV onto the Kiriko, but might be too little too late at this point.
Yeah, and honestly, this is what it's reading to me as, is when a team kind of knows that they have like more potential and that they are playing a lot better. They kind of smell blood in the water, you know, like sharks, and they're just holding so far forward, making it even harder for the team to get back into it. And you see, they're just all the way in. They're not giving an inch of room or an inch of space.
Whoa, Swanky almost with the ace as well. Caps, thank goodness that he's still alive. Maybe denying it for the monkey, and the recall means that they know exactly where he is. He's gonna get hunted down. There's nothing that this Tracer can do. And that is an ace coming out from Swanky, all 5. And the rest of them do respawn in time, but they can't get to the Tracer to help, and now they're big stuck. With one of the players still down, Caps might have a bomb ready very, very shortly, but there's an enemy Kitsune rush coming out, and Hudson just needs to charge up those rails with that regular fire and cleans up every single one of them.
Yeah, this is not going well for Mix, unfortunately, and Ultimate's even committed there. Only Kiriko Rush committed to earn that team wipe from MBD. And, you know, they're trying to flank, they're trying to establish other angles, but MBD just has such a dominating presence on this map right now. I truly don't see a way that Mix comes back into it.
Pulse Bomb expended for basically no impact as well. That's a shot in the Caps. All right, punishing for that Pulse. And the overclock, how much can it find? Only one so far, but Lucio's very low. And it doesn't even matter because Death Blossoms finds everything else. Dirt in the ground is all that Mix is at this point. Prime Ghost no longer, and that's 100-0. First section for Mud Bulldoggers.
Yeah, not sugar-coated either. I just don't see a way that that Mix is going to be able to come back even into this series. Like, there's some maps, and you watch them, and you say, you know, there's still potential for a really competitive series here, but that was not one of the maps that we just witnessed. What we just witnessed was really a bulldozing of Mix, and unfortunately that just really looked really rough for them. And they were playing what seemed like their comfortable comp, right? And so coming into the next maps here, I wonder what they're going to pick, and I would hope that maybe they have another look or like another team comp that they've been practicing on. But whew, that one was a doozy.
Yeah, that's even more one-sided than the first section that we saw, because of course, like MBD, they put up a fight in the first map of Ilios, but it just was kind of rough. This time, there was just nothing. Like, it was 200-0, right? So Mix could not find any footing at all. Maybe the composition might not have helped them out too much in the early games, and it took them a second to realize that they were going up against some opponents that could fight back. And MBD, they could definitely shoot back from what we've seen before on stream. But now, map number 2, going to the hybrid pick, they have a bit more time to adapt now, and maybe now that they've seen what they have to go against, they might end up being funneling into more of a meta composition than they really had before. The Moira, a bit of a selfish character, admittedly difficult to get the healing off and difficult to get the survivability of the team that Kiriko provides. You've got a lot as Moira, you can get yourself out of pretty much any situation, but the rest of you is going to be a bit of a problem when some kind of big ultimate hits. So having that adaptation at the end, maybe it's still a very slim chance because they did not get 0 points, but they were getting a little tiny openings here and there. But Swanky Pants, I mean, this guy going in, and as well as everyone else, I mean, Hudson landing shots at the end as well. The confidence that MBD was showing at that point, I think when you get to the point when you're like 150 to 0, you're gonna have that in your head. You're like, okay, we can just do whatever we want. So maybe with that reset, whatever the hybrid pick is that Mix come up with, perhaps there's a chance to just have that mental reset and have MBD just go back to their roots as well. And we have a level playing field. That's what they gotta hope for. That's what they gotta pray for.
Yeah, I don't think MBD is going to give it to them, right? You saw the way that MBD was just playing that series, and they smelled it, and they knew that they could go in. They were almost at the times touching the spawn doors on those Koth points, which is just, you know, an achievement in itself. So yeah, I truly, you know, I hope for the sake of a competitive series that both teams are kind of, you know, more leveled out, but Mix really has to step up and make some adaptations. And, you know, I talked a little bit about why kind of selecting Moira is just very difficult going into playing against the Kiriko composition, and really what it comes down to is utility in these team play environments, right? Moira is entirely almost healing and damage. There's no real like part of her kit that does anything outside of that. But Kiriko, you know, she has Suzu, she has a teleport ability to be able to assist it positionally. Like there's so many complexities to her kit, and then, you know, her ultimate empowers her entire team. So it's just not even like, it's not even fair to the players who are playing Moira, as in like they're getting as much value as they can out of the hero. But from a pure utility standpoint and what it provides to your teammates, playing Kiriko is just, that's why she's been played in Overwatch League. That's why she's been played and had such a high pick rate from her release and inception. So just a really difficult battle and hill to overcome on the side of Mix.
It's really crazy to hear to hear you put it like that, because like we kind of already knew, like everyone that plays the game already knows that Kiriko's strong, but you don't really get a sense of how strong she is until you just kind of break every ability down into its base form, right? Because Moira, like you mentioned, she's got a healing orb, a healing mist, she's got damage orb, and the suck, and then that's it. That's all you got. You have healing and damage, and maybe again you have survivability for yourself. And then Kiriko, you're like, oh, she's got invulnerability for everyone. She's got a cleanse every 15 seconds. She's got like, it's insane how much value this character brings. The fact
not
that
even forgetting about the triple headshot multiplier. Yeah, she has on her
she can two-hit any character in the game. By the way, like I don't know. She's very good. So teams that don't run her are either there's one of two things, right? They're either very confident or they're very foolish. There's no in between. I respect it from the, okay, like bringing out the Moira, it takes balls, right? So I respect it, but it's just when you're playing a team like MBD, like you got to bring out the best of the best, and I guess that's kind of what makes this meta kind of stale for some players right now. I don't know. I've said this like 8 times already this broadcast, but I'm quite low in the skill bracket, so it's not that impressive for me. But I mean, considering the fact that she does have all this stuff in her kit, she's crazy. Like, if you don't bring her, like, if you don't bring Kiriko Sojourn at the highest level of gameplay, you're asking to lose. So, again, the fact that Mix stuck with the Moira for an entire section of that map, and then also, like, half of the second section, it could have been a problem. It could have been a minor problem, right? Because that's such a... there's no real words to describe how much of a detriment that, not the player, like you mentioned, but the character just not being as good. She just doesn't have as much stuff. Like Moira has, like you mentioned, healing and damage. Kiriko has healing, more damage, and then like 10 things on top of that.
Yeah, that utility is really like what it comes down to. And I mean, the heroes and the composition synergize so well together for what MBD has been running, you know, in that monkey comp, like what we've seen in Overwatch League. So like the way that the heroes interplay, that's kind of what makes the whole strength and why these players have the ability to do like such domineering things to enemy teams when they're playing it, right? Like you wouldn't necessarily expect, oh, like my hero is very individually strong, but it just doesn't work when it comes to that team play environment and the team synergy and the things that you can do together. And I think that's why I love Overwatch. I mean, like, I know, Anton, you're very well versed in like multiple other games, and I know you've been like, you know, I'm like not very skilled in Overwatch, but like Overwatch is really like my bread and butter. And the reason I love it so much is because you can take like one part of a team, like 1/5 of a team and one player, and have them do all of these incredible things. You can see like, you know, a Tracer solo kill somebody or like hit a sticky bomb or like all these other things. And that's like beautiful in itself, but then you can take it to that next level and you can watch 5 players do something in tandem that is so beautiful together and like make something so powerful. And then that, like watching that is just, it shows power of teamwork and collaboration, but then there's also like mechanical expression in there as well. So that's what keeps me coming back to Overwatch like day in and day out, and why I love playing this game and why I love thinking about and coaching the game. So
yeah,
that's like, yeah.
I mean, that kind of goes for like every game, right? Because every game is like, unless you're talking about like something like an arena shooter like Quake or something like that, because you're gonna be taking a lot of 1v1s. It's like a 1v1 game, but like a lot of games like that, it's just the beauty of esports, and that's what keeps me coming back to. Like not only I talk about Valorant a lot, but the same with Overwatch. It is that kind of concept where you can take one part, combine it with 4 others, and just make something beautiful. It is like art. I tell this to every single one of my friends that I play games with. Unfortunately, like I have a section of friends that are like esports friends, and then another section of friends that are not esports friends. And like I try and educate, like this is just actual artwork. It's like like regular gameplay is like having like 5 colors on like a paint palette, and you just kind of try and draw with its 5 colors. And then esports, when you're at this highest level gameplay with the practice that goes into it, with all this like the scrims and the boot camps when you have actual pro teams, it is like you have 5 colors, but then you have like an entire section of your paint palette where you mix and match and everything like that. You can make a bunch, like a million other colors, and it is beautiful. And that is the thing that is so great about esports, is that you get players and you get teams that have the time, because they're getting paid for it. It's their job, it's their livelihood, and you get this stuff that you would never come up with. It never happens in pugs. It's impossible, because you don't have the time. If you're just like even if you're 5 stacked, it doesn't even matter if you're 5 stacked or solo queued. Even worse if you're solo queued, but you can't like teach everyone 50 different strat books and have like a really deep playbook in your ranked game. It just doesn't work. So seeing this kind of thing coming out from NBD, and like these guys, I would imagine they're probably not getting paid to play the game. If they were, I don't know why they're here. Let's be honest. But it's already great to see just these teams that are like, I don't want to discount them. They're really good, but I want to say lower tier, because again, they're not getting paid. It's really beautiful to see these teams already having like a semblance of that kind of thing, right? And that like you mentioned, that's why we love esports. That's why we love Overwatch. That's why we keep coming back to this amazing game that has basically become like it's become part of our lives. Let's be real.
Yeah. And I mean, don't worry. Like, I mean, I have insight into tier 2 Overwatch, and trust me, they're not even really getting paid past the prize pool itself. It's a very lean ecosystem as it is. So not a lot of people are making money doing Overwatch right now, but it's really about like the passion and the hobby that we have for this game, and why we always come back to it. I mean, for me personally, if I were super invested or really loved another game the way that I love Overwatch, I probably wouldn't still be here, but I don't. I love Overwatch in a very specific and disrupting to my own life way. It is how the cards fall sometimes, and you know, it's a great game. Love to play it, love to coach it, love to cast it, love everything about it. So just awesome to always see what other people also love about it and what other people can do in it, like the beauty that people can create, you know, the little paintings and all the palettes, and I love seeing everything that people can do. And really, it's such a diverse game too throughout all the ranks, right? Like we were talking about, we'll see some Doomfist in these tournaments maybe. And yeah, I would love to see some Doomfist. You know, I basically haven't had to coach or like think about Doomfist as a meta viable hero since he was nerfed, right? So that's a hero that I haven't seen anyone try to really make use of. because it's been so difficult for him to find his way back into the meta. You know, I've just been looking at Roadhog players for the last like couple weeks. Like that's not that can liquefy my brain as itself. So to come into a different tournament and see other people playing these different comps and you know, making them work and finding those combinations in different ways, like, man, that's great for me to see. So I think there's so much value in, you know, the community tournaments and everything that's still going on in the Overwatch ecosystem that like props it up. Even just not even thinking about, you know, Overwatch League contenders, like any of the other, like, you know, professional leagues.
Yeah, I want to add on to something you said there as well, but I say that and I forgot what I wanted to add on. But anyways, speaking of Doomfist, yeah, I would want you to like analyze some of my quick play games and like help me understand why both my friend is owning on Doomfist and also I'm getting owned by enemy Doomfist, because like, it's one of those heroes. I feel like you mentioned is not in the meta, but like I feel like he's so bad. Like he's in such a sad state that the only people that play him are people that are so good at him that he becomes oppressive. But no one, like, you're not gonna play him if you're like mediocre or like kind of good. You're gonna play him if you're a god and you know what to do with every single part of his kit. And then that's like the only people I meet because they're just absolutely destroying. But anyways, we are getting into the map very, very shortly. We apologize for the break, but we are going into King's Row. What a surprise! We've had it so many times and we're gonna have it again. This is such a staple map for not only Overwatch, but also, I mean, of course, Hall of Heroes. We haven't had too many games so far. It's only been 4 iterations. But here we go with our second round of the day. Mud Bulldoggers once again taking on Mix, and we're going into Sigma. This time on, as we mentioned, King's Row. We haven't even gotten to Circuit Royale just yet.
Yeah, Sigma on King's Row is definitely an interesting strat, right? But I think the team was a little confused because, you know, an initial map pick came through, but it was actually for an escort map. And that was an escort map that was potentially very favored for snipers. So I think maybe Mix was thinking, oh, like we wanted to play this kind of style anyway, but if we have to choose a hybrid map, then we're going to have to choose and play this one. So to that end, maybe Sigma makes a little bit of sense, but I would expect to see a little bit of a swap. I think if they have to go up against this Winston composition, though, it's going to be really difficult for them.
Yeah, I'm wondering what the Sigma is actually going to be going in for. I mean, yeah, they're making a push happen, and they have the wall up, and they're taking a decent amount of space, but EV is taking some damage from the Winston as well, so it could be a bit of a problem. Found the back line. Elf has had a lot of damage on the shotguns all the way at the back here, but somehow Sigma does stay alive for the time being. Swanky trying to commit some more pressure on, and Ruma is actually the first to get a kill on a cap, so one of the healers making some stuff happen already, and Elf follows up on that, and everyone else just goes down straight away.
And that's just a no mercy type of engagement, right? Mud Bulldoggers, they just went straight in. Absolutely no fear. They didn't lose a single person, and, you know, that's their first team fight. So already, and, you know, wait, it looks like they've actually swapped roles on the side of Mix. 80's now playing tank.
Yeah, whoa, that's interesting. That one really didn't go very well to start off there. Maybe they need to warm up to those roles, like you said, but yeah, Mix just getting completely disintegrated by MBD. 2 team fights already won. That is 10 kills, no single response from the side of Mix.
Wow. So now, I mean, Mix is playing, you know, more or less the meta composition. They're on that Winston composition. They're mirroring everything that Mud Bulldoggers are playing, but it's just not been going well for them. And it seems like they're just getting baited every time on these engagements.
Yeah, look at the damage coming out. Swanky's got a kill. That is honestly a cleanup thanks to everyone else already getting damage done. Elf was one of them, as well as the Hudson, the one and only. We only ever see one. But Swanky with another cleanup. Can Mix do to really get back into this?
Through like the one map in this 2 minutes, I'm still not sure if Mix has managed an elimination once. I haven't seen one. Maybe I haven't been paying attention super closely, but man, this is the worst position to be in, right? Where you kind of aren't able to get a stable footing at all in any of the team fights. It's a really bad feeling to be as a competitor.
And there is a sound barrier, so the it doesn't do anything. It's crazy. MBD just completely waited out. They retreat, so they give up a little bit of space, but they just actually take it right back. They're just walking forward, and that is an insane piece of utility coming out from the Sojourn, and 2 kills off of that. Everyone else just gets pushed back to spawn. What do they do? They've got no opening. 15 kills. You can see it on the screen. There's been no deaths on the side of MBD.
I feel bad. Like there's so little. I mean, honestly, it's a tough position for everyone to be in, right? There's very little to say. At this point, it doesn't look like Mix is going to make it through. If Mix takes even a team fight in the series, I think that's an achievement for them that they can be proud of, but it doesn't look like it's happening.
Wow. Death Blossom. You can call that Widow Rose. It just absolutely just melts everyone that stands on it. And Nick's still 20 for every single person on MBD. I'm a bit sad. We can't see the scoreboard when we're in spectator mode, but that would be a very... I wonder if everyone actually has 20 elims, or if some people are like missing a couple because they didn't get some touches up. But this is absolutely mind-blowing for the entirety of MBD. There's no slowing down. There is this one choke point that cannot be crossed. Inferno and Caps both get punished. Clean headshots coming out from Hudson, and there's another one on the body of Kish, but even still is able to rail him through, and Mix now only left with one. Prime has got a couple of headshots of his own, but they're not going to be enough. All the healing's here. The Primal is knocking at the door of Mix's spawn. There's nothing to be found.
You know, folks, I think a lot of people, when Overwatch 2 was released, they wanted an MMR reset. You know, they said, we should reset MMR of everybody in ranked so that we can all climb up, and, you know, all the people that we feel don't deserve to be at the current rank that they're at will drop down. This match is the prime example of why an MMR reset would be a horrible idea for our ranked ecosystem. At least if it were like a full MMR reset, you know, we can have our little arguments about like different levels, and they did like a slight one, you know, when Overwatch 2 was released. But this is what happens when there's players who clearly have a lot more, honestly, just time invested into Overwatch, and they have a lot more understanding of the game and how it's played. It's very, very difficult to surmount that overall gap to the point where Mix, you know, like it's hard to forget that there's 5 players on that team, right? Totally, that are making individual actions every single second in the same way that Mug Bulldoggers are, right? There's people who are making the same amount of actions and trying their best to win the game, but it's just so far in terms of that skill disparity that we're seeing that it's really difficult to not honestly feel for Mix. And, you know, power to them for putting themselves out here as competitors and showing up and playing through this whole match. But to hold this from the side of Mix, I don't think is realistic. And, you know, they've done a phenomenal job, honestly, coming out and performing the way they have.
Oh, careful there, Lucio, because you see Hudson on the high ground. Yeah, it's like you're saying, you can't even play Mix for that. Just Hudson's hitting all the heads every single time. Even in the first matchup, first series, lands so many headshots, you can't even count them on 2 hands at this point. So much damage coming out. An Elf with 1. Swanky is going to clean up Lucio, as well as take out Caps just all by his lonesome. And that's all it takes, folks. That is all that they needed. MBD with that absolute domination. Beautiful play by them. Nyx, very nice attempt. But like you mentioned, that skill disparity, MBD, everyone on the team. I mean, we know what they do, right? Like, they came back and reverse sweeped their first opponent. So these guys, we knew they were no joke. But you can just see exactly what's going on. Big Death Blossom coming out from Elf as the play of the game. That makes sense. I mean, there's so many good plays coming out from everyone. The easiest multi-kill to happen from one of the members is going to take it for them. So 2-0 very, very swiftly.
Yeah, very swiftly. And, you know, props to MBD for finishing that one up. You know, I've seen scenarios like that where a team decides to still attack first, you know, and then they run through the whole map in 4 minutes and they make it like a whole bloody ordeal. But props to them for recognizing, you know, hey, we're definitely better than these T guys. Let's just finish it out respectfully, quickly. And that's really the only thing they can do in that scenario. So honestly, great sportsmanship from MBD and Mix, both of them, to play through that series. I've been on the receiving end of punishments like that in my time as a player, and I've been on the giving end of punishments like that. And it's honestly no fun for either team playing through it. There's no fun to be had. So props to both of them for playing through it. And yeah, I'm really excited though for our last match of the day.
Yeah, if I can check, I'm curious what we've got here, because I know we have, again, a former champion of Pit of Valor. Sorry, Pit of Valor. That'll be coming up on Wednesday. I'll talk about that more in a second. But we do have a former champion. Yeah, Blight GG. They were the winners of Hall of Heroes #2, and they come back. They defeated Hit Scan Juice in the lower side of the bracket, and they're gonna go on to face Mudbull Dogger, who they have not played before. This one's gonna be an interesting game because, I mean, we just saw what these guys just did. These guys are absolutely nuts. And Blight GG, given the fact that they have won over Bing Bong at some point with a bunch of top 500 players, this is going to be a curious matchup. I don't know what's going to happen. Hudson took him a second to warm up, but now all their hands are warm. All their keyboards are probably scorching at this point. They probably have some friction burns on their arms. But I don't know what's going to happen. But we just, before we do drop it to a break, and hopefully we have our final fairly soon, we want to thank our sponsors because Community Gaming have been helping us through pretty much every single event that we've been hosting here at GLG for so darn long. These guys provide pretty much the whole prize pool here, our pay as well as casters, and for Pit of Valor they provide that prize pool as well. That one is big on Wednesday, that we have this Wednesday, next Wednesday, pretty much every Wednesday coming on, other than maybe Christmas week. We're going to take a break towards the end of December because of the holidays, but after all that stuff, we're going week after week. We got Hall of Heroes coming up on Monday as well, every single week. So for more competition just like this, make sure to keep up with our socials on Discord and Twitter for as long as Twitter stays alive. We have it all there. Follow this channel as well and hit that bell to make sure that you are notified every single time we go live. But it's super awesome stuff here. And yeah, without further ado, we will send you guys to a quick break. But before or after that, we will have our grand finals of Hall of Heroes #5, and we're going to crown perhaps a new champion in MBD. They're going to come in and just completely take it by storm, or Blight GG are going to repeat their championship, and as we see them take their second trophy. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Laugh it to the bank like to the bank like pedal to the floor, need no brake lights. In the dark, watching make light. I'm a star, got no stage fright. Please don't get me mad, I'm a nice guy. My baby say I'm cute, yeah, I'm tight fine. I be waking up when you go night-night. In a different zone, what's the time? Laugh it to the bank like ooh, go. Laugh it to the bank like I got any 10s, 20, 50, 100s, 10s, 20, 50, 100s, 10s, 20, 50, 100s, 10s, 20, 50, 100s. I get it up, flip it and continue. I've been going dumb, I've been going mental. Going up, I'm on another level. All black clothes like a medal. Little this and this, little Ricky Rick. It's my grandmama, I'm her Nicky Nick. I just wanna love, but I've been hit or miss. I might up and leave, yeah, take a pic. Laugh it to the bank like ooh, go. Laugh it to the bank like I got any 10s, 20, 50, 100s, 10s, 20, 50, 100s, 10s, 20, 50, 100s, 10s, 20, 50, 100s.
Enough of the code switching. Been hitting my soul, been on the ropes. I'm ready to grow, so get to know niggas. Keep your head up, I want you to grow with me.
See this gold on me, want you to glow with me.
Yeah, alright, okay. We get it. No contest. Wait.
See this gold on me,
Surf's up,
want
nigga.
you to glow with me.
The world been dying, days is number, check the climate. I'm sick of it, fuck the harebrained scheme to get the riches quick. I played a long game with serene scene and the whip is quick. From the back room to the hearts, I'm in the thick of it. I grind too hard for y'all not to see me a star, bitch. I'm raising a bar like they really pay me to talk. My life been in shambles, but I got handles. I'm finishing at the rim. I remind you time and again that I'm really him. Oh, you ain't up? This shit not just for the show, but that you entertain. Anybody not for me is below me, blow me, you in the way. I live my dreams, I got it locked, the master keep it on me. Back in the field, running audibles with the team. Everything I got out the mother, told my truth. I shake that fake shit, they praise you, then minimize you behind you. Just know I notice you. Stay woke, no joke, it really be the ones you closest to. Had to stop sleeping on myself like I ain't know the truth. Oh, this to me like it's really nobody code is this. And if you disagree, then you jaws and your claim get audited. Who you know do the beating and talking and write the harmonies. I'm really convinced there's nobody out here going hard as me. Wish well the dog that claim belief in me so he could use me. Look at me now, you chose your route, I know you sick to see it. You talk a lot, all that flop, but that shit not harming us. Capping your status, we back, ain't nobody raws us. To the ones that held me down for the count, look at what growth will do. I'm the kid from the cul-de-sac, feeling double sex with loot they pay to play my shit back. Ain't no way I'm going back until I'm fossil fuel to the flame, just like I'm supposed to do. Enough of the code switching, been hitting my soul, been on the ropes, I'm ready to grow, so get to know niggas. Keep your head up, I want you to grow with me. See this gold on me, want you to glow with me. Been hitting my soul, been on the ropes, I'm ready to grow, so get to know nigga. Keep your head up, I want you to grow with me.
See this gold on me, want you to glow with me.
I've been on a job, trying to take it far. I need that ROI, shit I done paid the cost. I'm all in on me, lil' baby she agree, she really been here through the fall. She the only thing I need. I wanna be free, I know that they want me for my ideas so they can line their pockets. Don't hit me to tell me that you give a fuck about me. You don't even know nothing about me, trying to force me on your timeline. You know you need to stop it, I live for more than attention. Might not be your trending topic, put my worth in analytics. I admit that took a toll, I got addicted to scrolling. We know well that get toxic, I got caught comparing me to people I don't even know. They say it's lonely at the top, well maybe then I'll focus on things that's more important. And let whoever think whatever and just keep it moving. These niggas won't work on themselves, they'd rather see you losing. You'll never see me losing.
Enough of the code switching, been hitting my soul, been on the ropes, I'm ready to grow, so get to know niggas. Keep your head up, I want you to grow with me. See this gold on me. Want you to grow with me. Want you to grow with me.
Blah, blah, blah. I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back, tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. The phone and affection, I summon and dub it. Cause I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back, tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. The phone and affection, I summon and dub it. Why you be all in my line about nothing? Why won't you go get you $1 or something? Don't hang with a who line for nothing. I see that we different, you riding, I double. I don't do discussions on bragging about hundreds. Don't go to your places, I know that they sunken. Don't call me your brother, I barely could trust you. I talked to a shorty, she bagging the bugging. And I'ma need all of my dollars on corporate, so hand me the money, I divvy the pie. I'ma give all of my people a portion to build them a fortune on flipping the ride. I can't be mixy when iffy the vibe. And 40 on 50 is really the time. Why are you all on my phone like you want me? Like you wasn't pushing the kid to the side. I don't know if you thinking I'm blind.
MBD making the run all the way to grand finals. They were the ones that had to play an extra game, mind you, but they're here, and they're here to face our previous champions of week number 2 of Hall of Heroes. We have Blight GG coming back, and coming back strong, because they win their first match as well. And honestly, their other team, I wish we could have seen it on stream, but again, we just do not have the broadcast capability. But that one probably a barn burner, and they come back into this one. We know how strong they are from their first showing back 2 weeks ago when they took this entire series, and these guys have like multiple, yet again, like top 500s. These guys can aim, these guys can do everything just individually as well as they possibly need to make a showing in the Hall of Heroes. But now they come up against MBD, which we have seen today, not only like in their previous weeks, but they've been performing right before our eyes. So, Sham, I know that I don't think that you have too much experience with Blight GG, unless you maybe see their names. I'm not entirely sure. I think that a caster that I worked with a couple weeks ago was actually he looked at the rosters and like, I know some of these guys. But yeah, so Blight GG coming into this, I was about to ask you for a prediction, but I can't really do that, can I? Because I mean, just looking at this comp, we talked about before with these odd meta picks, they're either very confident or foolish? And considering these guys have won before, I want to see what you think about it.
Well, I think that Blight GG is just doing a lot of swapping and is not actually putting themselves on any specific composition. But I mean, Mug Bulldoggers have looked really strong so far. Oh, are they at? Wait, are they actually on Junker Queen?
They're committing.
You know, this is just very interesting. I think, you know, if you're saying that they're very good players, I'm assuming that it's confidence on their side. And, you know, Junkrat Torb is so difficult to deal with as it is. And, you know, there it is. One pick for them.
It's kind of back and forth, but they have a couple kills as well. Both the DPS go down, and in fact, everyone else also dies. Problem for Fmel. Here we go. MBD completely shut down in that first engage, and Blight GG having a free conversion.
Yeah, and you know, the off meta seemingly working, and the interesting thing about a composition like this, especially with Junker Queen, Torb, and Junkrat, it's really just not a comp that you can lazily walk into, right? You have to be very planned and calculated. It's not a free win for you, no matter what it looks like. So even if you're running better heroes, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, they gotta have their individual skills still up to par. It was the overclock, and Sin, with his own little boop, finds Elf off the edge. Fedora Master's turret does go down at the end of the day to Smell, but they can't find the kill on the player themselves. The rest of Goomba kept alive just for the time being with the lamp. Goes down at the end, but Hudson still managed to live with the rest of the team. And it still seems like the hold is strong for Blight GG. Elf is trying to get in, but the ultimate coming out the wheel is going to remove just one of the healers. And Elf falls to one of the other explosives as Fedora Master's turret actually removes Swanky before two other players get frags, not Blight GG. But can they actually get in? Hudson got 2 frags, so this might be one of their openings they need, but a counter headshot coming out from the turret master of Fedora. What a legend, keeping their own site under lock and key.
Yeah, you know, Mug Bulldoggers, they do have some room to work with here, but they're not able to stand on the point because of the Molten Core that just came out from Fedora Master. So Blight GG, when they're going to be able to recontest, they have both of their support ults coming online. Really difficult position for the Mug Bulldoggers here.
Shotgun's coming through. I mean, decent on the Zarya to be able to counter some of the damage on the close range, but so much health being had. Yeah, that sound barrier coming out is really preventing anyone from dying. And Mud Bulldoggers still cannot find any opening as Lucio goes down at the end of the day. Elf with the shotguns has been so good earlier on in the day. But Blight GG, yet again, another 5-man wipe. And now they finally go and try and punish the spawn doors.
Oh my god, and Sin goes off the map in his enemy spawn. That's making a statement right there, right? There's no reason to do that other than pure BM. So
yeah,
wow, a pretty dominant round. I mean, from Blight GG, they come out on something that you wouldn't expect, and they absolutely dominate. Sin getting the first pick 2 fights in a row, and then for him to go off the map at the end of the game. That's disrespect with the capital D. So let's see. I mean, Mug Bulldoggers, they've played well so far throughout today, but I mean, 3rd match already today. They must be a little bit tired. So are they going to be able to come back in this round?
Maybe a bit racked as well, because Blight GG, they come out of the doors swinging. And this might be like the highest chance that we have so far to actually see like a Doomfist come out from the side of Blight. Maybe next map they might be looking to play a little bit. But here it goes, Elf with that quick TP to get them up under the site as fast as they possibly can. But Blight GG, I mean, they're running. They're really on it. Sleep instant, and Sin does fall after the adaptation coming out from MBD. How much more can they find? Rusty Goomba's got a kill with a knife, in fact, on the tank of MBD. And up in the sky finds a Pharah. It's a really interesting adaptation coming out from MBD so far, but it seems like it's at least taking some space and keeping their presence on the middle of the map.
Yeah, I like the Pharah swap actually, but they don't have a lot of people on the side of Mug Bulldoggers who are able to like easily spam out the turret. Maybe, I mean, it's just the Sojourn. So even then, the Pharah is still actually getting very well zoned in a way that you wouldn't necessarily expect. And just locking, you know, a good counter hero by itself doesn't end up winning you the map. And I mean, oh my god, Elf going down to the Jagged Blade.
There's a nice little grapple and a swing coming out, kind of pretending that they're on this Roadhog that their opponents have of MBD. And Swanky, on the Roadhog itself, is trying to do some work here. Got a couple kills. Sly with a nice shot on the Baptiste onto Hudson, proving that he can aim it himself as well. And Sin just wants to try and contest. Nothing much to be done against the flat cannon of Swanky.
So now actually the Monk Bulldoggers have some options, especially now that they're kind of on defense and the Junker Queen comp has to retake into them. Really what I'm looking for is, you know, Elf getting this barrage and if they're able to get it off in a sustainable way. And they're pretty close to it and already a good hook.
Well, look at the high ground. Look at the high ground. Barrage up, but the Lamp is going to be the hard counter to the Pharah and Sly with the great shots. Sin with 2 frags somehow. I'm not entirely sure how the Lucio is getting all these kills, but they're doing so much work. And the Hammer is not going to be the one getting the kill, but oh, Fedora Master is just rubbing it in.
Yeah, I mean, whenever an enemy teammate, an enemy pulls out the hammer on you, that's when you know you have to turn it up to 200. You know, you have to just, you can't let him do you like that. But Nano committed there from Monk Bulldoggers to try and win out that fight. You know, both teams kind of trading pretty evenly right now, but Monk Bulldoggers with a staggering ult economy, so they have all of the tools that they need in order to take this fight if they want to.
Enemy turret.
Some shots trying to charge the rail. 97 is enough to get a headshot kill. And there it goes on Aqua, taken down low by one of his teammates. This is the cleanup, but there goes the barrage as well. A lot of ults being expended, but that does make for a flip for MBD.
Yeah, and I mean, great on MBD getting the flip there, but yeah, 3 ults is quite costly for them, especially when BlightGG didn't use any. And, you know, Kiriko, Luma here really has to be aware to save her cleanse for the Junker Queen ultimate. Otherwise, it's going to get really ugly really fast for the Monk Bulldoggers.
A lot of the space taking. Luma knows. Everyone knows exactly where this is going to happen. And there goes another ultimate overclock. And Junker Queen is sitting in the middle of all the action. But it's up to MBD to try and hold it down. And they're doing just fine. Rusty Goomba lasts alive for their team. And does get a really nice hook onto the enemy Roadhog. And somehow he is the one that makes everything happen. The Kiriko has no contest. That is insane from BlightGG.
Yeah, Rusty Goomba coming up big there. You know, the Junker Queen ultimate was denied. Luma did a great job of saving that cleanse and denying it, and it all looked locked up for Monk Bulldoggers, but Rusty Goomba, a Junker Queen is such like a scrappy hero. You're able to find those kills in situations where normally another hero probably wouldn't, so great props to them. They're playing it really well, and, you know, we're approaching very quickly last fight territory for both these teams.
80%'s pretty darn close. BlightGG, I mean, they that's the crazy thing about the Pharah. They don't even need to expend like a hit scan to be able to take care of it. The turret is just doing all the work. And Luma even goes down. Lamp falls. Swanky's got a response, but there's nothing else for their team till Elf does chime in. Turret finally goes down, and Swanky is still alive. Maybe a hook to be had. Lucio so sneaky, but Elf does get the kill at the end. And 99, no more mistakes for MBD.
Yeah, and that's exactly what MBD really needed there. And now they put themselves in a commanding position. You know, Fedora Master had the Chorb ultimate coming into that fight, but he died while he was holding it. And that could have won them the round. So now, you know, it's really important for the BlightGG to combo their ultimates effectively on this last point. And it's going to be pretty difficult for them to get in.
Well, 2 kills already happening for MBD, though. This could be a decent start. Lamp no longer, but Aqua does get the tank, which could be a massive problem. Kitsune rush outs, more explosives. And this is so rough for these players on the point itself, but there's another OT. The thing is, MBD is falling one at a time, and there's nothing left for them. BlightGG take it 100-99.
Wow, and that was a very entertaining map, regardless of, you know, overall outcomes of either team. That was just so fun to watch. So, you know, there's a team coming in with this crazy off-meta composition, getting value on it, being disrespectful. I mean, hey, it's part of Overwatch. It's part of the game. So, yeah, great to watch, and I can't wait. You know, I do think really Monk Bulldoggers has a great shot at coming back into this game. You know, I saw some great flashes from them in that last map, and it was super close. I mean, 99 to 100 in terms of like final completion. So really, I wouldn't count them out just yet. I think they have definite chances going into our next map.
Yeah, for real. I mean, completely agree, because, I mean, you think back to map number 1 of the entire tournament, right? And this is kind of what happened. MBD got kind of rolled on, no, excuse me. It was kind of opposite, which is weird. That's so weird how that would happen. They didn't get, this time they got rolled map 1. And then they flip over to the second half, and then they make it a bit close. First time, it was completely opposite. They actually made it close the first time, and then they got rolled. So this one, I want to say they have more of a chance because now they're ramping up. Now the only place to go is up. They got complete demolished on the first section of that Nepal. So now bigger opportunities because they're in a similar position as they were before. Down one map, able to have the potential of a reverse sweep. But the problem is, the biggest difference is the fact that BlazGG are a lot better of a team. I mean, just surface level, and the fact that again, can't reiterate enough that they have won before. So they definitely have the metal to prove this is going to be a difficult second map no matter what happens, but I completely agree with you. I think they have the chance to at least take it to a third, if not win the entire series.
Definitely. I'm excited to see kind of what map they end up picking going into it. You know, they weren't going to have success playing the Winston comp probably into Torb Junkrat. It seems like it's very well decided as like a counter composition to the general monkey stuff. I really actually like a lot of the Roadhog play, especially against, you know, Junker Queen comp. There's no shields, there's no real mitigation. If there's a hook that comes through, hook can be so powerful. And, you know, even I remember we were one of the when I was still coaching that team in Contenders, we were one of the very few teams that even when Junker Queen was hard out, we would try and pull out a little bit of Roadhog in some situations. A lot of other teams, you know, were mocking us for it. Like, why would you ever play it there? But there were very specific situations where Roadhog is really good into Junker Queen. So I think they can go back to that composition. I think, you know, they even showed Orisa earlier in the day. I think Orisa is a great option. Even Reinhardt to a degree, especially after Junker Queen nerfs. Like, Reinhardt's been quite decent against playing Junker Queen. So many different options. But, you know, the strength of an off-meta team is really that they throw you on the back foot. You know, they make you trash all of your preparation if your preparation is getting countered. And then you're stuck in a position where they have a lot more experience and expertise than you do and like the matchups you're playing. So very dangerous situation for MBD to play in, but they've shown some creativity previously, and they've shown enough looks that I think they may have some options. But, you know, as it is, we're going to Kings Row again. We've gone to Kings Row every single time. You know, we all love it. Scrims Row. It's a fan favorite map. So no surprises there. And, you know, MBD is saying, you know, we're going to live or we're going to die by this map since it is, you know, match point.
Yeah, I don't think we're so. I'm curious to see. I wasn't here for last week's Hall of Heroes, at least casting it. So I'm not completely sure, but I think I don't remember seeing a non-Kings Row for map 2 in a very long time. So this it's a fan favorite, like you mentioned. I asked the caster I was with last time as well why, and it was just like it's kind of like the Dust 2 of CS:GO. It's just that map where everyone just loves. It's that map, and it looks great. I personally I like the aesthetic that Overwatch 2 has going for it, right? Because it's like a lot of the maps went from like sort of hard daytime to like dusk, and it's very easy on the eyes. I think it's healthier that way, less blue light and stuff like that. But anyways, yeah, MBD. Geez, they got a mountain to climb, but admittedly, the fact that these guys have gotten so darn close, like you mentioned, like with the prep that they had to throw out the window, they're able to get to 99 to 100 in that second section of Nepal. I think it shows for something, right? The comp they brought out isn't exactly like the most weird, right? Because they had a Zarya, and eventually they just relegated on the Roadhog because he's just darn good right now. But it is definitely something that they were not completely prepped for. Otherwise, they would have probably brought it out right out of the gates. And now the fact that they have this kind of thing, they have this in their mind. Do you think they have more of a chance, or do you think BlazGG are going to be like, okay, they're bringing the Roadhog. Now that we have another composition to counter what they're bringing, and like this is going to be like it's just a big like game of rock paper scissors or something like that.
I mean, that's what Overwatch is kind of at the end of the day, right? It's just a massive game of rock, paper, scissors. And there's always something that's better against something else. I think, from what my perception, I think that BlazGG are probably strong players who are quite competent. It seems like they obviously have preference for their specific heroes, but I think if you put them on other heroes, they would probably do well as well. So I think, you know, it's all up in the air. I don't necessarily expect BlazGG to be a team that swaps off. You know, they seem like they're very much kind of into the chivalrous aspect of Overwatch, you know, like disrespect your opponents, like play your silly heroes. Like a lot of people that I've encountered who play like that, they don't necessarily always like to change off of doing that. You know, they're not going to say, oh, like let's cave in if we're losing and we'll finally play meta. You know, I don't see a lot of people do that. They're like, no, we'll live and die by our Junker Queen composition. So as we go into Kings Row here, I'm really interested to see like how Whether they fully stick on it, or you know, if even MBD, if they decide to pull out the Pharah again, you know, would they go Pharah Mercy? Would they completely force that kind of different compositional thing, make it even that much more difficult? So really, plenty of interesting possibilities.
Yeah, plenty of room as well. We should be getting straight into the map very, very shortly as these teams pick their heroes. But yeah, I'm curious to see what the heck is going to happen, because I think this, I'm like 20% sure that the first time we saw BlightGG, this was the team to bring out the Doomfist, but it was not on this map. We had Lijiang Tower like multiple different times in that first day. I'm surprised we didn't see any Lijiang today, but yeah, fresh maps I don't really mind. But yeah, King's Row is fairly standard, so I am definitely curious, because it looks like we might have a little disconnect here, so we might have attack pause for the time being. So we will be playing for a little bit longer, but this is I mentioned before, this is like the biggest chance we've had so far today that we see a Doomfist. But given the fact that that last section of Nepal did go to 99, I'm wondering, you know, like adding on to the thing you're saying, right? Like you don't think they're really gonna switch off? I don't either. Like these guys, they know they're good, and like everyone, Rusty Goomba, Akua, Fedora Master, like these guys have been, they've made their name here during our weeklies. It's only been 4 weeks, but the fact that they have already made their name here is kind of ridiculous. But yeah, I don't know. Like the showing that they put out individually, like not even just as a team, is just ridiculous. Like the gunplay of the Torbjorn. Like I think that my aim is like not half bad, but like I can't find my shots with that guy, man. Like
Yeah.
the projectile arc and everything else. But you see this guy landing headshots on flying characters, which is nuts to me. But for these guys, it's like it's the next
Just
weekend.
another day at the office. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, it looks like, I mean, they did a lot of compositional swapping, sort of while they were in lobby in general, but you know, they're definitely not running meta. I think we can rely on them to not do that.
Brigitte. I wouldn't put it past them, honestly. Like Brigitte, along with the Zarya, it's a lot of pressure going from Hanzo, Widow. I mean, do whatever one-shot character you want. Fedora Master is gonna be great on that one. And Akua this time on the Echo, which he has played before in previous tournaments, so looking forward to see what he can do on this guy. But Mug Bowl, they're going right back to the tried and tested. We got Banana Rush coming out from the defense.
You know, I truly think that BlightGG's theory crafting went as far as, let's everyone lock the worst possible hero that we can in spawn, and then let's play that composition. It's really interesting, but now it looks like they're back on, you know, their tried and true Junker.
I guess they wanted like some kind of early pick with the Echo. Yeah, makes sense. It's fair. Akua's getting pressured up here on the high ground, but it's all good. Sin's already got a kill on a Lucio, because why wouldn't you have a kill on the Lucio, on a support character, onto the tank of the enemy team? Why wouldn't it happen? Doesn't make any sense, but who even cares? Hudson, triple punched out. Sin's got great fists apparently, because he's making music at this point. You can hear the beat running all the way to the enemy spawn.
Oh, he's going off the map. He's going off the map.
Oh my god. What do you do? What do you do against that?
I mean, you let him go off the map, and then you push in, which is seemingly what Mug Bulldoggers are doing. But he really just wanted to capitalize on his punctual performance.
Absolutely, literally, punctual, everything going right for BlightGG. I mean, yeah, okay, Mug Bull get a cap, but I mean, come on, this is just they're just getting pushed. This is probably, I've heard before, I think it was Jag that said last week or something, or 2 weeks ago, that this is one of the hardest points to push on this map past this little archway. They're doing just fine. They're kind of just there. Hudson with a nice crit, but not going to be an insta-kill headshot. And everyone from BlightGG has made it past the archway. There goes the lamp to keep themselves alive as they provide more pressure. Mel, the only kill he's going to get is going to be that lamp, but Elf has a response onto the Junkrat Blights, and Rusty also falls. So maybe this is the opening bit of stall that they have under their belts, and another kill coming out. No, excuse me, that is a turret going down. So at least some more impact, and a lot of the time being bought for BlightGG to have to wait.
Yeah, that was a really good Kiriko ultimate from Luma, where she recognized the Junker Queen had already used Shout and they'd used Immortality Field from Sly, so there was no more resources for their team to be able to kite successfully. And so she just hit that Kiriko ultimate, team wipe, easy peasy.
Good stuff. Sound barrier to allow for another Russian from Blight GG, and the Lucio being so that's so offensive. This guy, you might as well call him a DPS at this point. I'm curious to see what his numbers compare to everyone else. But here goes that ultimate coming out from that Junker Queen all the way in, but it doesn't seem like it's doing anything because the pressure is being pushed by MBD instead. There's a Death Blossom to get one kill. Sin with a response, but Elf with yet another on the Junker Queen herself. And even the lamp gets shut down from the buckshot coming out from the Hellfire shotguns. Elf staying alive, and at least Blight GG do have some space to take as they do push MBD back, but the kills being in the former's favor. How much can they really hold here? As the payload's still going. Blight GG have not slowed down.
Yeah, but they're just taking a soft regroup, and this corner is still really good to fight defensively. And they do have their overclock to work with, so the Torbjorn ultimate comes out though, and they're cutting it.
And just working around overclock. Hudson's been good on it so far, but the immortality is going to make sure everyone stays alive. And he's still got 100 rail. Could try for another shot. Missed. Not quite having the effectiveness that he has in the previous matchups, but there is a frag that comes out onto Sin. He's been so annoying, so aggressive. Paying so much attention to him is the entirety of MBD, and they find a couple frags off of that as well. Nice kill on the support, and they finally slow down Blight GG.
Yeah, and this was great stuff from MBD, and this is where we kind of start to see some of the weaknesses of the off-meta comps come out, where all of the play that they have to play for is individual, right? There's very little team play aspect to what they're able to accomplish together. There's a lot less existing synergy between the heroes, and so eventually Mug Bulldoggers in these longer fights are finding those combinations and getting value.
What? What? What is this? How is he doing this? I didn't know you could do that with the wheel. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
He gets one. Of course he gets one. Not like I'm shocked or anything like that, but that's every time I play Junkrat from now on, I'm riding up the walls. That's
Yeah, you can I think hold space and the tire will go straight up the wall for you.
I had no idea. There's something new every day.
Oh my
okay.
god.
Nice pick. Shows the lethality of Kiriko as well, but yeah, that's all that Luma's gonna get. Nice try. She's good
Those are
for
such
one.
satisfying shots to hit too, right? It just goes dink dink right into their face. It's so nice.
Yes. The sound of the headshots coming through when you have the hit markers is beautiful. But maybe that's what we need. Maybe Luma needs to wake up a bit more. I don't want to blame her too much. Like everyone on MBD's they're playing fine, but Blight GG are just being so oppressive. And just Akua with the satchels. Also got a turret kill, but Swanky now on Winston at this point has a primal up and running, but 211 on the health is taken down very, very low. He can pressure if he wants to, but they're doing just fine, just holding it down. They're stalling a decent amount for Blight GG. They're pushing all the way back too. So yeah, this is a bit of a stalemate here until someone decides to expend some ultimates. That is a problem. There goes the welcome mat coming out from Fedora. A Swanky falls before that, and now it comes a combination from Blight GG where they can really go for some pressure. And maybe the Primal not getting expended early on might be a big mistake as everyone dies off of that push from Blight.
Yeah, and the biggest thing that Mug Bulldoggers is going to want back is their Kiriko ult that they committed there at the end. You know, the Primal was going to be able to stall. They would have been able to have that ultimate, but now, I mean, they're still finding a way, but it's probably not going to be enough in order to cap this out. And Blight GG is pushing all the way.
Yeah, the knife getting a couple kills. At least Krusty does fall, but they're still Swanky, not able to hold, and the lamp is going to make sure that no one else from Blight GG falls to the same fate of their tank. Everyone else solo on MBD, but they're still somehow keeping themselves alive. The Echo coming out just to try and clean up some low health players on the side of Blight, but Sin is being so impactful. The entire series has been absolutely insane, and maybe a mistake on the duplicate. Don't think he meant to take up that Baptiste, but Sly, using his body as a shield, has made sure that Blight GG are taking this over the edge. Everyone is doing their work. Nothing to be done from MBD.
Yeah. Sin has done so much for this team, and there was even a point there in that final fight where it looked like, you know, Blight GG were slowing down, the respawn advantage is kicking in for MBD, and that they would be able to come back in. But as it went out, you know, neither side was able to get those kills until Blight GG was able to get their own reinforcements back and then force that engage. And, you know, they were able to clean up that final fight. So, you know, risky territory for both teams showing, you know, the signs of life that they need. But in the end, Blight GG was just able to cap it. And, you know, 1:15 on the clock, it's not even as much as you would have necessarily expected, given, like, especially, you know, how first point went, where Sin was just, you know, getting final blow after final blow on Lucio, and they stalled out a little bit. So really, MBD has had a fine defense up to this point, and the rest of the map, this is still anyone's game.
It's a ball. No, it's not a ball. Okay. Come on. I love it. Come on. We gotta see something. We saw a Doomfist at the end there from Blight just to get to the point faster off the respawn. But okay, they're not looking for too much stuff that's ridiculous. But there's a Pharah coming up from MBD, and they're trying out the Orisa they had earlier on as well. So maybe a little bit of an adaptation to let them be a bit more aggressive. But yeah, Blight, they've been I don't know how you break through this. They're actually all individually so great, and it's not even just like they're hitting all their shots. Like they technically don't have any hero that's just like, oh, point and click. It's easy. Just click on their heads. They have Aqua with explosives, Fedora Master with you gotta do trigonometry to be able to figure out whether his projectiles are landing. And then Sin is just punching everyone. So you really don't know what's going on. But Fmel at least does get the turret off the board earlier on. But there's another push. What? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I'm not sure how Sin manages to get every single first final blow, and he's already touching the spawn doors. Honestly, that's a little too early, Sin, to be touching the spawn doors like that, but, you know, go off, King. But yeah, I agree. It's just been so weird to watch this team play, and they're all... Oh my gosh.
This is... And here they go. They're going in. They're punching the spawn doors again. Rusty Goomba, is he going to get punished here? The lamp almost keeps him alive, but it does get removed actually after he gets pushed out of it by Swanky. So very nice movement coming up for Marissa. That's what you want from that character, but it's still not going to work out because Sin's alive, Sly's alive, Fedora Master lands all the shots, and just nothing.
And they're going to go pick up their Junker Queen, and so, like, it might be a little bit of a delayed defense, but you see Mug Bulldoggers making some swaps around. They're really just trying to find something that's going to work for them. You know, the support's definitely behind in terms of overall charge on, like, compared to Blight GG, and it's pretty tough for them. Already so much displacement.
That's unreal. He just walks up to them and hits melee, and it just works every time because his team's so good, setting them up. No one's even looking at this guy, and everyone else is doing fine as well. The Satchel is coming out, getting a kill. And look at what he's not even using healing wave. He's just speed boosting himself and just walking into the opponents, and it's still working. And Mud Bulldoggers, they're literally, I mean, just like you mentioned, they're trying to find something. They're having at least some kind of switch up every single time they come out of spawn, which admittedly is not. They're trying something, right? That's a problem. Riptire from the high ground. Don't think they're going to be expecting this one. And there it goes onto the healer. Lucio falls. Luma's got at least a lamp off in cooldown for the time being. They do have 2 kills actually off of this. Aqua taken down quite low, but an ultimate coming out from the Torb. And Sin getting a kill. He's the only one so far to actually have anything. So what? I don't get it, man. He should not live here. There's no way he survives. But 2 kills, and that the only one to get any frags for Blight.
Yeah, but, you know, credit to the Monk Bulldoggers. They really figured it out at the end. I actually really like the swaps that they're on. They're basically playing the same type of comp that Blight GG is playing, but it's a little bit better and has minor improvements basically in every way. So they're deciding to take kind of this stylistic mirror with Blight GG, and in order to win that point, they just comboed ultimates. So actually, I think Monk Bulldoggers in a really good spot for the rest of this map, and they're already committing some ultimates, forcing the engagement.
Yep, the artillery, I mean, he's got to find somewhere. Oh, the Maywall, that's what you love to see. The combination gets a kill. Not often does that artillery strike actually find someone, but the teamwork there was allowing them to get all the way through. But the thing is, Sin, you never know where this guy's going to pop up, man. He's got the kill on the Reinhardt out of any character that it could possibly find the frag on. And he makes sure that the healing wave goes out and no one else on his team goes down past the Baptiste. He is enough to make sure everyone stays alive.
Yeah, that was looking so good for the Monk Bulldoggers for just a little bit, but unfortunately, Swanky Pants just wasn't able to live through all the incoming damage, and that's the fight. But Light GG does have to back up a little bit here, though. They're giving some space, and that's exactly what Monk Bulldoggers want.
Earth Shatter up. Could be big. There goes at least one target, and the lamp goes down, which means he gets the kill. Rusty Goomba no longer for this world. Down on the ground, he sits, and Sin still trying to stay in it. And at least another lamp goes out, I think, from NBD, which means that ultimate coming out from Junkrat also does absolutely nothing. Very nicely done for NBD to make this push happen so far. And decently close to the second checkpoint. This Reinhardt has been oh so good for them.
Absolutely, and it's been good enough that I'm even sitting here considering whether Blight GG wants to try and make some swaps, because, you know, this map was going so well for them initially, but this is not the way that they want this map to be playing out right now. They want to wrest back the control and all the space. They're not able to.
Well, and Moncor might do something about that, though. One kill in return, turret and lamp fall, and Elf gets a freeze on a slide, but everyone else from Blight GG. That is an insane little counter to that Amp Matrix, and he takes space, he takes all the kills. Mud Bulldoggers have to reset and try for something again.
Yeah, what Blight GG is doing so well is every time their Junker Queen is walking in, the rest of their team is right there already, and they're comboing their cooldown so that they're getting maximum space from it. You know, the Junker Queen is swinging as soon as the Molten Core is out. It's really effective rotations, and that's what's saving them so far on this map.
Another attempt at a fight here from MBD. I mean, to push all them back. Yeah, the Reinhardt. I mean, at least without the Core is able to get in, kind of. But as I say that, he gets melted, deleted. Actually, alt F4, and maybe MBD are learning a bit of a lesson from their opponents back in round one from what Blight GG has been teaching them. And this one is a masterclass of gameplay. They're pushing them all the way back, even past this, but not even in the spawn doors this time. It's past. They've gone beyond them. Even behind. Mel, yet again, removes the turret. Bit of a cooldown, but the cooldown is really all that they're waiting for as another artillery strike from Hudson. But how much can this one find as the Maywall is not available? 3 seconds, he's got to just pop it. Yeah, this one's not going to do anything right now. Make some space, maybe, but there's another wheel and a good block, but a big anti coming out from the JQ. JQ ends up falling, though. Blight GG also get opened up on, an Elf with a big double Sim with a response, because why not? It's always Sim. But so far it's only Sim until Fedora has something to say about that as well. So much freeze, so much slow. The movement is what he has to go for, but he does get taken down at the end of the day after getting revenge on the person that was punishing him so hard. And Mug Bulldoggers have done the impossible, brought it into overtime, and they seem to be confirming this point cap.
Yeah, that fight was almost beyond belief in some of the things we saw. First, there was an incredible sound barrier from Femel to keep the whole team alive, but then Femel went down, and then we saw Sin with that 1v1 on Elf. That was next level. I've never seen like shots that hit so well at the perfect time, but wasn't enough for Blight GG to hold it there, but man, they're in such a good spot right now.
Look at Sim too, like what? He's not even playing Lucio, he's literally playing like a Reaper. He's just sitting on the high ground on the back lines, just waiting for his opponent. Just waiting for his opportunity to strike, and so far, not quite. Thank goodness for Mug Bulldoggers, they were ready for, no, I don't know if they were ready for that, but they adapted to it quite quickly. But they are being stalled out quite heavily at this corner, and up on the high ground, Sin is making a lot happen. Is able to drop when his team needs. There goes the sound barrier for the defense. They're getting frozen though. It might be a bit of an issue, but spacing does get bought. And in fact, Blight GG have purchased a ticket to victory, it looks like, because there's a lot of frags coming out. Elf the only response, but in the face goes a knife, and Blight have all the kills.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened, but I think Hudson may have like momentarily DC'd. It looked like he was standing still for a little bit in that fight. Really wasn't expected, and so I think just unfortunate circumstances for them thus far on this tire. That can be massive, and oh no, Femel down, 6 seconds left. Are they going to be able to touch?
This one's a bit of an issue. They've got to get on it somehow. And the artillery, I think it actually got a kill there, but this was too little, too late. They could not get on the point in time. And Blight GG, yet again, absolute domination. MBD get their own medicine fed back to them.
Yeah, and I guess, I believe that's the end of the series, if I'm not mistaken. And so it seems like Blight GG has won yet another series.
Yep. Two-time champion. of the Hollow Heroes. They've already been immortalized, and a statue has been erected in their honor already in the second week, but now they get to do it again. And what a story to come back into this one. And I mean, just following MBD as well. I'm glad we followed this team rather than Blight themselves. We knew Blight were good. MBD, again, were dark horses. They came into this. We didn't know how they played. And admittedly, they this one got close, right? They put up a fight. Yeah, the first map was a bit of a rollout from Blight GG. But at the end of the day, not only did MBD bring us a pretty decent comeback in the first series, they pretty much pooped on their opponents in the second one. And now they not only they don't manage to take a map, unfortunately, but they get pretty close to taking two against Blight GG, a 99 versus 100 on the second point of Nepal, as well as this time on King's Row getting to third points on their own attack. Pretty darn close. And if they were a bit more awake, if they knew what they were going up against in the first section of Nepal, this might be a completely different story. This might be like, we might be a 1-1 right now, but without looking at everything that happened, Blight GG, honestly, they came into this ready to play, and they just brought it right out of the gate.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I mean, again, props to both teams. You know, MBD played to the best of their ability. They made so many creative swaps, and it seemed like it was coming together, but there just wasn't enough time towards the end for it to really, you know, coalesce into what they needed it to. But you know, Blight GG coming in with those off-meta compositions, coming in with, you know, the disrespect and like the pizzazz and the going off the map and all of that. Like, they came to play their game, and that's what they did. So truly hats off to them. They are the champions today.
Yeah, absolute legends. And we'll see if they come back next week, because again, we will have Hollow Heroes pretty much every single Monday as long as the teams keep signing up. And with these guys competing, I wouldn't imagine they'd be stopping anytime soon. These guys love it, and just like their opponents, I mean, they put up a fight yet again. And unfortunately, we did not have their rivals so far of Bing Bong that have also, at this point, 1-2. So Blight GG are tied in championships. I don't know what to call them. For Pit of Valor, we call them crowns, but I don't think we have a name for these just yet for the wins of Hollow Heroes. Maybe we'll come up with something in between the weeks. But yeah, these guys have 2, Blight GG have 2, and Bing Bong have 2. So now someone's gonna have to take that crown, right? Someone's gonna have to have the tiebreaker, and we're probably gonna see that next week if Bing Bong sign up, if Blight GG come back. It's just all fun, all games here at GLG, and we're gonna have more games on Wednesday, not too long from now. It's only in 2 days. We're gonna have some Valorant going on. Huge tournament, $250 up for grabs for the first 2 teams that finish, and that one's huge. That one's got a lot of players. That one's I mean, obviously we're established in Valorant. This is what everyone is used to here at GLG. So if you guys want to find out more about that, you can visit the Discord, you can visit the Twitter, and obviously follow this channel down below. Hit that bell to make sure that you catch us live every single time. And none of this would be possible without Community Gaming. Have been so nice to us over the past few months. These guys have provided us so much in terms of prize pooling. They are literally the entire reason that Valorant has a $250 prize pool, which is completely crazy. We've had $50 for so long, but they are big. So thank you to Community Gaming. They are a website basically made to make the tournament lives, the lives for tournament organizers super easy. So you go out there, everything's sorted out. You got your payment system, you got your tournament brackets, you've got everything, and they're completely beautiful. And we thank them for letting us host all the heroes on there as well. And without further ado, we have the gaming lounge. Unfortunately, we don't have a caster from the lounge today. We actually have like a big brain guy here. So thank you so much to Grandmaster Sham for joining me. And yeah, but we do have a lounge up in Rochester. So if you find yourself in New York and you want a place to game with not only yourself but also friends and also food and also consoles, a bunch of couches, a bunch of PCs over there, a lot of good stuff. We have memberships starting at fairly low prices for what you get. So check out our website for more information on that. And of course, the last thing that we have to point out is the fact that we are literally selling out on socks. I can't believe I'm saying this, but last time I checked, we actually have no more. But as soon as we get those back in stock, we'll let you guys know, because I am slightly sad. Ben notified us about that this morning, and I checked, and every single size was sold out. So I guess I should have ordered earlier. But anyways, for the time being, I think that's all I got. Sean, do you have any final words? This is your first Hollow Heroes. I think it's your first event with GLG, right? How'd you find it? I mean, so far, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, this was a fantastic time. I loved seeing, you know, all the variety tonight and the different compositions and, you know, like the spice in this tournament. It was a lot of fun. So definitely would love to be back. It's been fantastic. And thank you all for a great event and for a great Overwatch tonight. So I think that's going to be Anton and I signing off for tonight, but thanks for the stream and we'll see you soon.
it to the bank like. Ooh, go. Laugh it to the bank like. I got it in tens, 20, 50, hundreds, tens, 20, 50, hundreds, tens, 20, 50, hundreds, tens, 20, 50, hundreds. Laugh it to the bank like. Pedal to the floor, need no brake lights. In the dark, watch me make light. I'm a star, got no stage fright. Please don't get me mad, I'm a nice guy. My baby say I'm cute, yeah, I'm type 5. I be waking up when you go night-night. In a different zone, what's the time? Laugh it to the bank like. Ooh, go. Laugh it to the bank like. Yeah, I got it in tens, 20, 50, hundreds, tens, 20, 50, hundreds, tens, 20, 50, hundreds, tens, 20, 50, hundreds. I get it up, flip it and continue. I've been going dumb, I've been going mental. Going up, I'm on another level. All black clothes like a medal. Little this and this, little Ricky Rick. It's my grandmama, I'm her Nicky Nick. I just wanna love, but I've been hit or miss. I might up and leave, yeah, take a pic. Laugh it to the bank like. Ooh, go. Laugh it to the bank like. I got it in tens, 20, 50, hundreds, tens, 20, 50, hundreds, tens, 20, 50, hundreds, tens, 20, 50, hundreds.
Enough of the code switching. Been hitting my soul, been on the ropes. I'm ready to grow, so get to know niggas. Keep your head up, I want you to grow with me.
See this gold on me. Want you to glow with me.
Yeah, alright, okay. We get it. No contest. Wait,
See this gold on me.
Say what's up,
Want
nigga.
you to glow with me.
the world been dying, days is number, check the climate. I'm sick of it, fuck the harebrained scheme to get the riches quick. I play the long game with serene scene and the whip this quick. From the back room to the hearts, I'm in the thick